The billionaire's daughter had been in a coma for 12 days. Doctors called it irreversible. Specialists from 5 countries had failed. The machines hummed, steady and hopeless, keeping her alive but not living. Cameras crowded the hospital gates. Inside room 407, silence was the loudest sound. Then she appeared, barefoot, small, maybe 11, her gray hoodie soaked from the rain outside. She stood at the glass doors and said softly, "I can wake her up." No one moved. Nurses blinked in confusion. When she repeated it, louder, steadier, "I can wake your daughter," the entire room seemed to pause. The billionaire turned. "Who sent you?" She shook her head. "No one. But she called me." And that was the moment everything changed. Before we dive into this story, tell us where in the world you're watching from and what time it is right now. Someone near you might be watching too. And don't forget to subscribe to support and appreciate the work we do on this channel. Now let me take you back to where it all started. Because the story you're about to watch will break everything you thought you knew about truth, love, and fate. The machines wouldn't stop lying. Beep. 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 Each sound promised life, but Caleb Langford knew better. His daughter wasn't breathing, the machine was. Lila wasn't living, the tubes were. 12 days. 12 days since his 10-year-old collapsed during violin practice, bow still clutched in her small fingers. 12 days of specialists flying in from 3 continents, each one using bigger words to say the same thing, "We don't know." He could buy anything. Private jets. Islands. Silence from the press. But he couldn't buy one more second of his daughter's laughter. The hospital room smelled like chemicals trying to hide death. Caleb sat in the same chair he'd barely left since day one, his hand wrapped around Lila's. Her fingers were warm but still. Too still. Outside the door, nurses whispered. Down the hall, families got good news. Somewhere in this building, someone was celebrating. Not here. Never here. Caleb's phone buzzed for the 100th time. His assistant. His lawyer. His publicist. Everyone wanted updates for damage control. Billionaire's daughter in coma was trending. People were making prayer chains and think pieces. He turned the phone off. Let them talk. Let them pray. None of it changed the monitor's rhythm, steady, mechanical, mocking. Lila lay under her pink blanket, the one with faded cartoon stars she'd picked out 3 Christmases ago. Her brown hair spread across the pillow like she was just sleeping. Like any second she'd sit up, rub her eyes, and ask what's for breakfast. But she didn't move. Hadn't moved. Wouldn't move. Caleb leaned forward, his forehead almost touching hers. "Baby girl," he whispered, voice cracking. "If you can hear me, just squeeze my hand. Move your finger. Anything." The machines beeped their answer. Nothing. Always nothing. He thought about the last thing he'd said to her before the collapse. She'd asked him to come to her rehearsal. He'd said he was too busy. A meeting. A deal. Something that meant absolutely nothing now. "I'm sorry," he breathed. "I'm so sorry." Thunder rolled outside, shaking the windows. Rain started hitting the glass in heavy sheets, like the sky was crying for him since he had no tears left. A nurse came in, the kind one with the tired eyes. She checked the monitors without speaking, gave him a look that said "I wish I had better news," then left. Caleb stared at his daughter's face. 10 years old. 4th grade. Loved strawberries and hated math. Played violin like she was born holding one. Gone. Not dead, but not here either. Trapped somewhere between, and he couldn't reach her. Couldn't save her. Couldn't do anything but sit here and watch machines pretend she was okay. His empire, $20 billion, 43 buildings across 6 countries, meant nothing. He'd trade it all for one word from her lips. Just one. Dad. That's all he needed. But the room stayed silent except for those terrible beeps. He closed his eyes and made a wish he didn't believe in anymore. A desperate, broken wish that something, anything, would break through this nightmare. He didn't know that wish was already walking toward the hospital. Barefoot. Soaked in rain. Coming to shatter everything he thought he knew. The automatic doors downstairs hissed open. And the impossible walked in. The lobby went silent. Not the comfortable kind. The wrong kind. The kind that happens when something doesn't belong. Sky stood in the entrance, water dripping from her gray hoodie onto the polished floor. 11 years old, maybe 12. Dark skin. Barefoot. Eyes that didn't blink. The security guard's hand moved toward his radio, then stopped. Something about her made him pause. She wasn't crying. Wasn't lost. Wasn't asking for help. She was waiting. "Sweetheart," the receptionist called out, voice gentle but nervous. "Are you looking for someone?" Sky's gaze cut across the room like a blade. Room 407. The receptionist's smile died. That room wasn't public information. That room belonged to Caleb Langford's daughter. That room had armed guards and NDAs. "How do you know about?" "I can wake her up." The words dropped like stones into water. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. A woman with a clipboard froze. Even the elevator seemed to hold its breath. The security guard stepped forward, trying to keep his voice calm. "What did you just say?" Sky turned to face him. Her eyes weren't defiant. They were sad. Ancient. Like she'd seen too much for someone so young. "The girl upstairs," she said quietly. "Lila. She's waiting for me." The guard's jaw tightened. Nobody outside the family knew that name. The press had been blocked from everything, even her identity. "Who told you that?" His hand went to his radio this time. "Nobody told me." Sky's voice didn't rise. Didn't waver. "She did." A chill ran through the lobby. The head nurse pushed through the crowd, eyes sharp. "Sweetheart, I don't know what you heard, but you can't be here. Where are your parents?" "Dead." One word. Flat. Final. The nurse's expression cracked. I'm sorry. But you still can't." "She's scared," Sky interrupted, still staring at nothing. "She can hear you all talking, but nobody's listening. She wants her father to sing." The nurse's breath caught. 2 days ago, Caleb had whispered something to Lila while the monitors were being adjusted. The nurse had been the only other person in the room. He'd said, "Remember when I used to sing you to sleep?" Nobody else knew that. Nobody. The nurse stepped back, hand trembling as she reached for the phone. "I need to call upstairs." Sky didn't move. Just stood there, rain pooling at her feet, hoodie plastered to her thin shoulders. The guard kept his distance but didn't take his eyes off her. Visitors stared. Whispers spread like wildfire. "Who is she? How does she know? Is this some kind of stunt?" But Sky didn't care about the whispers. She tilted her head slightly, as if listening to something no one else could hear. Then she spoke again, softer this time. "He needs to hurry. She's getting tired of waiting." The nurse's hand shook as she dialed. The phone rang twice before someone picked up. "Sir," the nurse said, voice unsteady. "There's a child down here. She's asking for your daughter by name. She says she can wake her up." Silence on the other end. Then, finally, Caleb's voice, raw, exhausted, desperate. "Bring her up." The nurse hung up, staring at Sky like she'd just seen a ghost. The guard hesitated. "Ma'am, are you sure? We don't know who this kid is." "She could be." He said, "Bring her up." The nurse's voice was firm now. Decided. She walked over to Sky, crouching down to meet her eyes. "Come with me, sweetheart." Sky nodded once. As they moved toward the elevator, the receptionist whispered to the guard, "Should we call the police?" He shook his head slowly, watching the girl disappear behind the closing doors. "I don't think the police can help with whatever this is." The elevator climbed. And in room 407, Caleb Langford stood for the first time in 12 days. Waiting. Hoping. Terrified of what was coming. The elevator doors opened to silence. Not peaceful. Dangerous. Caleb stood 10 feet from the entrance, arms crossed, jaw tight. His eyes were bloodshot, his beard wild. He looked like a man who'd fought God and lost. Behind him, 2 security guards watched every move. A doctor stood off to the side, tablet in hand, already judging. Sky stepped out first. The nurse followed, hand hovering near the girl's shoulder but not quite touching. Caleb stared. This was what had dragged him out of his daughter's room? A homeless kid? Soaked. Skinny. Barefoot. "You're the one," he said. Not a question. An accusation. Sky nodded. "You said you can wake my daughter." "Yes." One word. "Calm." "Certain." Caleb's hands curled into fists. "Do you have any idea what you just did? You made a claim in front of 20 people. Security footage caught it. If this is some sick prank." "It's not." Her voice cut through his anger like a knife through smoke. He stepped closer. Towering over her. Trying to intimidate. Trying to find the crack in her story. "How do you know her name?" "She told me." "She's in a coma." "I know." His breath came faster. "You can't just walk into a hospital and—" "You prayed for a sign," Sky interrupted, eyes locked on his. 2 nights ago. You asked for anything. You said you'd give up everything if someone could just tell you she's still in there." Caleb's face went white. He'd whispered that prayer alone. In the dark. With the door closed. Nobody heard. Nobody. His voice cracked. "How?" "She heard you," Sky said softly. "And she sent me." The doctor cleared his throat. "Sir, I really think we should." "Shut up." Caleb's eyes never left Sky's. "What else did she say?" "That you stopped singing after her mother died. That you used to hum a song while tucking her in. She misses it." His knees almost gave out. The song. The lullaby. He hadn't sung it in 3 years. Not since the funeral. He couldn't. "That's impossible," he whispered. "You know it's not." Silence pressed down on the hallway like a weight. The guards exchanged glances. The nurse looked like she might cry. The doctor set his tablet down, suddenly useless. Caleb's voice dropped to barely a whisper. "If you're lying to me." "I'm not." "If this is some con." "It's not." "Then prove it." His voice broke. "Prove you can wake her." Sky glanced toward room 407. "I need you to trust me. I don't even know you. You don't have to know me. You just have to let me try." Caleb stared at her. This stranger. This child who knew things she shouldn't. Who spoke with a certainty that terrified him. He thought about Lila. 12 days of nothing. 12 days of doctors saying maybe. Machines saying alive. But no one, saying she'd come back. What did he have to lose? Everything. Or nothing. He stepped aside. 5 minutes, he said, voice shaking. You get 5 minutes. Then security throws you out. Skye walked past him without a word. She stopped at the door to room 407, her small hand resting on the handle. Then she looked back at him. You should come in. Why? Because she needs to hear you, not me. Caleb's throat tightened. Hear me say what? The truth. Before he could ask what that meant, Skye pushed the door open and stepped inside. The machines beeped. The room smelled like medicine and waiting. Lila lay exactly as she had for 12 days. Pink blanket. Faded stars. Stillness. Skye walked to the bedside, her wet shoes squelching softly on the tile. She stared down at Lila's face, then reached out and placed her small hand on the girl's forehead. Caleb held his breath. Nothing happened. Skye closed her eyes. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Seconds passed. Then minutes. The doctor stepped forward. Sir, I think we should. And then Lila's fingers twitched. Just once. But everyone saw it. The nurse gasped. The doctor froze. Caleb's heart slammed against his ribs. Skye opened her eyes and looked at him. Sing. What? The song. The one you're afraid of. Sing it now. His hands trembled. I can't. Yes, you can. Her voice was firm. Unshakable. She's waiting. Caleb looked at his daughter. At the monitor. At the impossible child standing beside her. And then, for the first time in 3 years, he opened his mouth. And sang. The first note came out broken. Caleb's voice cracked on the opening word, his throat tight from years of silence. He couldn't remember the last time he'd let himself feel this exposed. Little light. His voice wavered. Don't fade tonight. The melody was simple. Something his wife used to hum while rocking Lila to sleep. Something he'd buried the day they lowered her casket into the ground. Skye stood perfectly still beside the bed, her hand never leaving Lila's forehead. The machines kept their rhythm. Steady. Uncaring. Caleb pushed through the second line, his eyes burning. Stay with me. Through the dark. His voice grew stronger. Not because he felt brave. Because he had nothing left to lose. The nurse in the corner pressed her hand to her mouth. The doctor's eyes were locked on the monitors. Nothing changed. Caleb kept singing. When the world feels cold, and you're alone. Memories flooded him. Lila at 3 years old, spinning in circles while he hummed. Lila at 5, asking him to sing louder. Lila at 7, the last time she'd heard it before her mother died. He'd stopped after the funeral. Couldn't bear the sound of his own voice without her harmonizing. But now, standing over his daughter's lifeless body, he sang like his heart was splitting open. Remember love, will bring you home. The final note hung in the air. Then silence. Terrible, crushing silence. The machines beeped. Lila didn't move. Caleb's shoulders sagged. He'd let himself hope. Let himself believe for one stupid moment that a song could undo 12 days of medical failure. I told you, the doctor said quietly. There's no scientific basis for. Lila's hand moved. Not a twitch this time. Her fingers curled. Slowly. Deliberately. Around her father's palm. The nurse's gasp cut through the room like a scream. Caleb froze. His breath stopped. His heart slammed once, twice, then forgot how to beat. "Lila," he whispered. Her eyelids fluttered. The monitor's rhythm changed. Faster. Stronger. The numbers climbed. The doctor stumbled forward, staring at the screen like it had betrayed him. That's not possible. Her brain activity was. Lila's eyes opened. Brown. Clear. Focused. She looked directly at her father. "Dad?" Her voice was dry, barely a whisper, but it was hers. Caleb collapsed to his knees, sobbing so hard his whole body shook. He pressed his forehead against her hand, unable to speak, unable to breathe, unable to do anything but thank God or fate or whatever force had just given him his daughter back. "You're here," he choked out. "You're really here." Lila smiled weakly. "You sang." "I did. I'm sorry I stopped." "I'm so sorry." "It's okay, Dad." Her fingers squeezed his. "I heard you. The whole time. I just couldn't answer." The nurse was crying now. The doctor stood frozen, his entire worldview cracking apart. Caleb turned to thank Sky. But the space beside the bed was empty. Where? He looked around wildly. Where did she go? The nurse shook her head, bewildered. She was just there. I didn't see her leave. Caleb pushed to his feet, scanning the room. The door was still closed. No one had opened it. No one had left. Sky had simply vanished. Who was that? Lila asked softly. Caleb stared at the empty space where the girl had been standing. I don't know. But deep in his chest, something stirred. A feeling he couldn't name. Like he'd met her before. Like her eyes had carried a familiarity that didn't make sense. He shook it off. It didn't matter. His daughter was awake. That was all that mattered. The doctor was already calling for tests, for specialists, for someone to explain what just happened. But Caleb didn't care about explanations. He held his daughter's hand and cried tears he'd been holding back for 12 days. Outside the window, rain poured harder. And somewhere in the hospital corridors, a barefoot girl in a gray hoodie walked toward the exit. Nobody stopped her. Nobody saw her. She was already a ghost in their minds. But in her pocket, folded carefully, was a small piece of paper. On it, 3 words in pencil. One more left. Security footage showed nothing. 3 different cameras. 4 angles. 20 minutes of recording. Not one frame captured Sky leaving the building. The head of hospital security sat in his office at 2 a.m., rewinding the footage for the 7th time. His coffee had gone cold an hour ago. This doesn't make sense, he muttered. His partner leaned over his shoulder, squinting at the screen. Maybe she slipped past during the shift change. We checked every exit. Every stairwell. Every service entrance. He pointed at the timestamp. She walked into that elevator at 11:43. At 11:51, she was in room 407. Multiple witnesses. And then? And then nothing. She's just gone. The partner rubbed his face. Could the cameras have glitched? All of them? At the same time? In different parts of the building? He shook his head. Someone would have to hack our entire system. And for what? To help some homeless kid disappear? They sat in silence, watching the empty hallway on loop. Finally, the partner spoke. What if she never left? What do you mean? What if she's still in the building? A chill ran down the security chief's spine. He grabbed his radio. All units. I want every floor searched. Every room. Every closet. Find that girl. But they wouldn't. Because Sky was already 3 miles away, sitting under a bridge, knees pulled to her chest. Caleb couldn't sleep. Lila was stable. The doctors were cautiously optimistic. She'd been moved to a regular room, surrounded by flowers and balloons from people who suddenly remembered they cared. But Caleb couldn't shake the feeling. He sat in his car in the hospital parking lot, staring at his phone. He'd pulled up every news article, every social media post, every mention of what happened. Billionaire's daughter wakes after mysterious visitor. Miracle at Mercy General. Who was the barefoot girl? Someone had leaked the lobby footage. The clip had 3 million views. People were calling Sky an angel. A prophet. A hoax. Caleb didn't care what they called her. He just wanted to know why she felt familiar. Those eyes. That voice. The way she'd said his daughter's name. He closed his eyes, trying to remember. Had he seen her before? On the street? At a charity event? Then it hit him. Not her face. Her words. She's afraid. The noise keeps her from finding the voice she needs. That wasn't something a stranger would know. That was something someone close would say. His hands started shaking. He opened his phone's photo gallery, scrolling back. Years back. Past business trips and board meetings and empty milestones. Until he found it. A photo from 12 years ago. His wife, radiant and glowing, sitting in a hospital bed. Holding not one baby. 2. Twins. His breath caught in his throat. The memory came rushing back like a flood he'd spent years damming up. Lila had a sister. A twin. Born 3 minutes apart. But there had been complications. The second baby, smaller, weaker, had barely survived the first night. The doctors said her chances were slim. Said she might not make it to morning. His wife had been inconsolable. Had refused to leave the NICU. Had sung to both babies through the glass until her voice gave out. And then the bridge. The accident that took his wife happened on the way home from the hospital. She'd been going back to see the babies one more time. To sing to them one more time. She never made it. And in his grief, in his rage at God and fate and everything that had stolen her from him, he'd made a choice. He'd kept Lila. And he'd let the other one go. The hospital had asked what he wanted to do. The baby was still too weak. Still fighting. Would need months of care he couldn't provide while drowning in grief. So he'd signed papers. Made arrangements. Let social services take her. He told himself it was mercy. That she'd find a better home. A family who could handle 2 tragedies at once. But really, he just couldn't look at her. Couldn't bear the reminder of everything he'd lost. He'd buried the memory so deep he'd almost convinced himself it never happened. Until tonight. Until a barefoot girl with familiar eyes walked into his life and said his daughter's name like she'd known it all along. Because she had. Caleb's phone slipped from his hands. "Oh God," he whispered. "What did I do?" Across town, Sky pulled a crumpled piece of paper from her pocket. She'd carried it for 3 years. Ever since the group home director had handed it to her on her 8th birthday. Birth certificate. Name, Twin B, female. Mother, deceased. Father, Caleb Langford. She'd memorized every word. Every letter. Especially the part at the bottom, where someone had scribbled in pen. Adoption pending. Father declined custody. For words that told her everything she needed to know. She wasn't wanted. Never had been. But tonight, she'd walked into that hospital anyway. Not for him. For Lila. Her sister. The one he'd kept. Sky folded the paper carefully and tucked it back into her pocket. Then she stood up, pulled her hoodie tight, and disappeared into the night. Because some reunions weren't meant to be spoken. Some truths were better left buried. And some songs, no matter how beautiful, couldn't undo the silence that came before. Caleb didn't go home that night. He sat in his car until dawn broke, phone clutched in his white-knuckled hands, staring at that photo from 12 years ago. 2 babies. He'd had 2 daughters. And he'd thrown one away. At 6 a.m., he made the call. "Morris," he said when his lawyer picked up. "I need you to find someone." "Sir, it's 6 in the morning. I don't care what time it is. I need every record pulled. Adoption files. Foster care placements. Hospital transfers. Everything from 12 years ago." Silence on the other end. "What is this about?" Morris asked carefully. "Just do it. Money's not an issue. I want answers by noon." He hung up before Morris could ask more questions. Then he drove to the one place he'd been avoiding for 3 years. The cemetery. His wife's grave sat under an oak tree, the headstone simple. Clean. He'd paid for elaborate tributes, but she would have hated that. Caleb knelt in the wet grass, hands trembling. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry." The words felt hollow. Useless. "I couldn't do it. I couldn't look at her without seeing you. Without remembering what I lost." His voice cracked. "So I gave her up. I told myself she'd be better off. That someone else would love her the way she deserved." The wind rustled through the leaves. "But I was wrong. I was a coward." Tears streamed down his face. "And now she's out there somewhere. Barefoot. Alone. Probably hating me." He pressed his forehead against the cold stone. "She saved Lila. The daughter I kept. The one I didn't abandon." A sob tore from his throat. What kind of person does that? Saves the sister who got everything while she got nothing? No answer came. Just the sound of morning birds and distant traffic. Caleb stayed there for an hour, crying for the first time since the funeral. Crying for his wife. For Lila. For the daughter whose name he'd never even learned. When he finally stood, his phone buzzed. "Morris. I found something." The files were waiting in Morris's office. Caleb spread them across the desk, hands shaking as he read. Twin B, born 3:17 a.m. Weight, 4 pounds 2 ounces. Placed in NICU. Father declined custody after mother's death. Transferred to state care at 6 weeks old. He flipped through placement records. Foster home after foster home. Some lasted months. Some lasted weeks. Behavioral issues, the report said. Doesn't bond well. Withdrawn. Refuses to speak about her past. One note, written when she was 7. Subject shows signs of abandonment trauma. Recommended for long-term therapeutic placement. Caleb's hands shook so badly the papers fell. There's more, Morris said quietly. He slid another folder across. She ran away from her last placement 8 months ago. No one's seen her since. 8 months? Caleb looked up, horror flooding his face. She's been on the streets for 8 months? Morris nodded. She's 11 years old. I know. Caleb stood abruptly, chair scraping. We need to find her. Now. Sir, the city's already looking. After what happened at the hospital, everyone wants to know who she is. They won't find her. Caleb grabbed his coat. She doesn't want to be found. Then how do you plan? I don't know. He slammed his hand on the desk. But I'm not sitting here while my daughter is out there thinking no one wants her. Morris stood slowly. What are you going to say if you find her? Caleb stopped at the door. What would he say? Sorry I threw you away. Sorry I kept your sister and forgot you existed? Sorry I'm 12 years too late. I don't know, he whispered. But I have to try. He started at the hospital. Asked every nurse, every guard, every janitor if they'd seen her since that night. No one had. He checked security footage from surrounding buildings. Pulled traffic cameras. Hired 3 private investigators. Nothing. It was like she'd evaporated. But Caleb didn't stop. He drove through every neighborhood, every shelter, every underpass. Showed her picture, the one screenshot from the hospital footage, to anyone who'd look. Most people shook their heads. But one woman, serving food at a homeless shelter, paused. Yeah, I've seen her, she said. Comes in sometimes. Never talks. Just eats and leaves. Caleb's heart raced. When? When does she come? No pattern. Could be days between visits. Could be weeks. If she comes back. He pulled out his wallet, handed her a card. Call me. Please. Any time, day or night. The woman looked at the card, then at him. You're that billionaire. The one whose daughter woke up. He nodded. And this girl, she said slowly, studying the photo. Who is she to you? Caleb's throat tightened. She's my daughter too. The woman's eyes widened. You mean? I gave her up. 12 years ago. And I've been looking for her ever since I realized what I did. That was a lie. He'd only been looking for 3 days. But it felt like a lifetime. The woman tucked his card into her pocket. If I see her, I'll call. Thank you. As he turned to leave, she called out, Hey. He looked back. That girl? She's tough. Real tough. Whatever you did, whatever happened, she's surviving. The woman's expression softened. But surviving's not the same as living. She needs more than food. I know, Caleb whispered. He walked back to his car, climbed inside, and sat in silence. His phone rang. Lila's nurse. She's asking for you, the nurse said. She wants to know if you found the girl who helped her. Caleb closed his eyes. Not yet, he said. But I will. He ended the call. Then he drove back to the bridge where his wife had died. Where Sky had been sitting just days ago, according to a witness. He stood on the edge, wind whipping through his coat, and shouted into the void. Sky. His voice echoed across the water. I know who you are. Nothing. Just the sound of the river below. Please. His voice broke. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Silence answered him. But somewhere in the darkness beneath the bridge, a small figure pressed herself against the cold concrete. Listening. Crying. Hating that her heart still wanted to believe him. Okay, I need you to pause for just 10 seconds. If you're feeling angry at Caleb right now, or heartbroken for Sky, or both, smash that like button. And listen, thousands of you are watching, but only a few hundred are subscribed. If this story is hitting you in the chest, do me a favor, subscribe so you never miss stories like this. Comment, protect SKYE, if you think she deserves better than this mess. Alright, let's see if things get better or worse. Caleb went to that bridge every night for a week. Same time. Same spot. Same desperate shouts into the darkness. Nothing. His staff worried. His board members whispered. Lila asked questions he couldn't answer. Dad, why do you keep leaving? She asked on the 7th night, her voice small from the hospital bed. He sat beside her, exhausted. Haunted. I'm looking for someone. The girl who helped me? He nodded. Why? Because she's your sister. Because I abandoned her. Because I'm a monster who chose one daughter over the other. Because I owe her everything, he said instead. Lila studied his face. She was smart. Too smart. There's something you're not telling me. When you're stronger, he promised. I'll explain everything. But he didn't know if he'd ever find the words. That night, rain came down in sheets. Caleb stood under the bridge anyway, soaked to the bone, screaming until his voice gave out. Sky. Please. Thunder drowned his words. He collapsed against the concrete pillar, sliding down until he sat in the mud. His expensive suit ruined. His pride shattered. I don't know what else to do, he whispered to no one. I don't know how to fix this. He pulled out his phone. The screen was cracked from when he'd thrown it against a wall 2 days ago. But it still worked. He opened his photos. Scrolled to that hospital picture. The twin babies. One he'd kept. One he'd destroyed. I'm sorry, he breathed. I'm so sorry. A sound made him look up. Footsteps. Splashing through puddles. His heart stopped. A figure emerged from the shadows. Small. Hooded. Barefoot. Sky. She stood 15 feet away, rain streaming down her face. Her eyes were red. Swollen. She'd been crying. Caleb stumbled to his feet. Sky. Don't. Her voice was sharp. Cold. Don't say my name like you know me. I do know you. You're the one you threw away? She laughed bitterly. Yeah. I know. Silence fell between them, filled only by the pounding rain. Caleb took a step forward. She took one back. Please, he begged. Just let me explain. Explain what? Her voice cracked. That you loved one daughter but not the other? That I wasn't worth keeping? It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? She was shouting now, tears mixing with rain. Tell me. What was so wrong with me that you could just sign me away? Nothing. The word tore from his throat. Nothing was wrong with you. Then why? Her scream echoed under the bridge. Caleb's knees buckled. He fell forward, hands sinking into mud. Because I was weak. Because I was broken. Because every time I looked at you, I saw your mother dying and I couldn't, his voice shattered. I couldn't handle it. So I ran. I abandoned you because I was a coward. Sky stood frozen, chest heaving. I hate myself for it, Caleb whispered. Every single day. And I know that doesn't fix anything. I know sorry doesn't give you back 12 years. But I'm here now. I'm here and I'm begging you. For what? Her voice was hollow. Forgiveness? A second chance? To play happy family? I don't deserve any of that. He looked up at her, rain and tears streaming down his face. I just want you to know that you were wanted. You were loved. Your mother sang to you every night in that NICU. She fought for you. She died trying to get back to you. Sky's lip trembled. And I failed you both, Caleb continued. But you're still here. Still fighting. Still surviving. And that's not because of me. That's because you're stronger than I ever was. For a long moment, neither moved. Then Sky reached into her pocket. Pulled out a folded, water-damaged piece of paper. She threw it at his feet. Read it. Caleb picked it up with shaking hands. Unfolded it carefully. It was her birth certificate. But at the bottom, someone had written something in pen. Father declined custody. 4 words that destroyed him. That's what they told me, Sky said quietly. When I was old enough to ask. They said you didn't want me. Caleb pressed the paper to his chest, sobbing openly. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't feed me. Sorry doesn't give me a place to sleep. Sorry doesn't make 12 years disappear. I know. But please, he looked up at her desperately. Please let me try. Let me be your father. Sky's face twisted. You already have a daughter. I have 2 daughters. No. She stepped back. You have Lila. I'm just the one who saved her so you wouldn't feel the pain I've felt every day of my life. That's not true. Isn't it? Her voice was cold again. Hard. If she hadn't been in that coma, would you have ever looked for me? Would you have even remembered I existed? Caleb opened his mouth. Closed it. Because she was right. He wouldn't have. Sky saw the answer on his face. She nodded once, slow and bitter. That's what I thought. She turned to walk away. Wait. Caleb scrambled to his feet. Please. Just tell me what you want. Money? A house? Education? Anything. She stopped. Didn't turn around. I want you to leave me alone. I can't do that. You did it for 12 years. Her voice was barely audible over the rain. You can do it again. Sky. My name isn't Sky. She finally looked back, eyes empty. That's just what I call myself. Because the one thing you never gave me was a name. The words hit him like a physical blow. She was right. He'd never named her. Never held her long enough to give her an identity. She was just twin B on a form. Then let me give you one now, he whispered. For the first time, something flickered in her eyes. Something that looked almost like hope. But it died just as quickly. It's too late for that. And then she ran. Disappeared into the rain before he could move. Caleb stood there, alone under the bridge, holding a birth certificate with no name. His phone buzzed. A text from Morris. Media's digging into your past. They know about the twin. Story breaks tomorrow morning. Caleb stared at the message. Then at the empty space where his daughter had been standing. And he realized something terrible. Finding her was only the beginning. The real question was whether she'd ever let herself be found. The headline dropped at 6 a.m. Billionaire's secret, Caleb Langford abandoned twin daughter 12 years ago. By 7 a.m., it was everywhere. Twitter exploded. Reddit threads multiplied. News channels cleared their schedules. The hospital lobby from 2 weeks ago. The footage of Sky walking in barefoot was replayed on every screen with a new caption, the daughter he threw away. Caleb's phone wouldn't stop ringing. His publicist. His lawyers. His investors. Everyone had an opinion about what he should do, what he should say, how he should spin this. He ignored them all. He sat in Lila's hospital room, watching her sleep, knowing that when she woke up, everything would be different. At 8 a.m., she opened her eyes. Dad? She blinked at him groggily. Why do you look like that? He tried to smile. Failed. Like what? Like the world ended. Close enough. He pulled his chair closer, took her hand. Baby, I need to tell you something. And you're probably going to hate me for it. Lila's face went serious. What's wrong? He took a breath. Let it out slow. The girl who saved you. Sky. She's not a stranger. Lila waited. She's your sister. Silence. Lila stared at him like he'd just spoken another language. What? You were born a twin. You had a sister. His voice broke. I gave her up after your mother died. Lila's hand went limp in his. You gave her up, she repeated slowly. Mechanically. My sister. Yes. Why? The same question Sky had screamed at him in the rain. The same question he'd been asking himself for 2 weeks. Because I was broken. Because I couldn't handle losing your mother and raising 2 babies at once. Because I made a choice I can never take back. Lila pulled her hand away. You chose me, she whispered. Yes. Over her. Yes. Tears welled in her eyes. She saved my life. The sister you threw away saved the daughter you kept. The words cut deeper than any headline. I know, Caleb breathed. Does she know? That we're twins? Yes. She figured it out. Lila's face crumpled. And you never told me? You let me grow up thinking I was an only child when I had a sister out there living on the streets? I'm sorry. Sorry? She laughed bitterly, sounding older than 10. Sorry doesn't fix this, Dad. I know. Where is she now? I don't know. She ran. She won't talk to me. Lila turned away, staring at the wall. Good. The word hit him like a fist. Lila. Get out. Sweetheart, please. Get out. She was crying now, her small body shaking. I don't want to look at you right now. A nurse rushed in, alarmed. Sir, she needs to rest. I'm leaving, Caleb said quietly. As he walked out, he heard Lila sobbing behind him. His daughter hated him. Both of them did. Outside the hospital, reporters swarmed like locusts. Mr. Langford. Is it true you abandoned your daughter? Where is she now? Do you have any comment? Are you paying child support? Did your wife know what you did? Caleb pushed through without answering. His security team formed a wall around him. Someone threw something. It hit his shoulder. An egg. Child abandoner, a woman screamed. More voices joined in. Angry. Righteous. Hateful. Caleb kept walking. He deserved every word. By noon, protests had formed outside his office building. People held signs, "Money can't buy morals," and "Find SKYE," and "Which daughter next?" His company's stock dropped 12 points. 3 board members called for his resignation. Morris showed up at his penthouse at 2 p.m., looking haggard. You need to make a statement. No. Caleb, they're destroying you out there. Good. He stared out the window at the city below. They should. This isn't just about you anymore. Your company employs 15,000 people. Their livelihoods depend on. I don't care about the company. Morris stopped mid-sentence. What? I don't care. Caleb turned to face him. Let it burn. Let them take everything. I deserve it. And what about finding Sky? You think she'll come to you when you're broke and ruined? Caleb's jaw tightened. Morris pressed on. You want to help her? Then fix this. Get ahead of the story. Show people you're trying. How? An interview. On camera. Tell your side. I don't have a side. I abandoned my daughter. That's not a story with 2 angles. Then tell the truth. Show remorse. Show you're looking for her. Show you want to make it right. Caleb shook his head. She told me to leave her alone. And are you going to? The question hung in the air. Was he? Could he? Should he? Before Caleb could answer, his phone buzzed. An unknown number. He answered. Hello? Heavy breathing on the other end. Then a voice. Small. Scared. Familiar. They found me. Caleb's blood went cold. Sky. There are cameras everywhere. People keep asking questions. I can't, her voice cracked. I can't breathe. Where are you? He was already grabbing his jacket. Tell me where you are right now. The shelter on 5th. But I'm leaving. I just wanted. She paused. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Sorry? For what? For ruining your life. The line went dead. Caleb stared at his phone, heart pounding. Then he ran. He reached the shelter in 15 minutes, breaking every traffic law. A crowd had gathered outside. Reporters. Cameras. People with phones recording everything. Caleb pushed through. Move. Move. Inside, the shelter director met him at the door, face grim. She's gone. Ran out the back 10 minutes ago. Which way? I don't know. But Mr. Langford, the director grabbed his arm. Those reporters? They've been here all day. Harassing everyone. Asking about her. Offering money for information. Guilt crashed over him. This is my fault. Yeah, the director said bluntly. It is. Caleb ran to the back exit. Scanned the alley. Empty. He pulled out his phone. Called her back. It went straight to voicemail. He tried again. 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 Nothing. She was gone. And this time, he knew she wouldn't come back. Behind him, someone shouted. There he is. Cameras flashed. Questions flew. The crowd pressed in. Caleb stood in that alley, surrounded by chaos, and felt truly alone for the first time in his life. He'd lost his wife. He'd lost one daughter to his own cowardice. And now he was losing the other to his mistakes. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Stop looking. You're only making it worse. Below it, a photo. Sky, curled up somewhere dark. A basement maybe. Or an abandoned building. Her eyes were red. Her face was tear-streaked. But she was alive. Caleb's hands shook as he typed back. I can't stop. You're my daughter. 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Finally, a response. Then prove it. But not like this. Not with cameras and crowds and strangers. Prove it when no one's watching. Caleb stared at the message. She was giving him a chance. One chance. And if he blew it, he'd lose her forever. Caleb didn't go home that night. He sat in his car outside the shelter until 3 a.m., staring at Sky's message. Prove it when no one's watching. How? How do you prove love to someone who's never known it? How do you show up for someone who spent 12 years learning you wouldn't? At dawn, he drove to a place he hadn't been in years. The storage unit where he'd kept his wife's things. Boxes stacked floor to ceiling. Her clothes. Her books. Her music. Everything he couldn't bear to look at but couldn't throw away. He found what he was looking for in the third box. A journal. Worn leather. His wife's handwriting on every page. He flipped through until he found the entry from the day the twins were born. 2 miracles. 2 perfect girls. I've decided on names. Lila means night, she came first, in the darkest hour. And the second. I'll call her Dawn. Because when she arrived, the sun was rising. My night and my morning. My complete day. Caleb's vision blurred. Dawn. Her name was Dawn. He'd never even asked. Never bothered to look at his wife's journal. Never cared enough to find out what she would have wanted. He tore the page out carefully. Folded it. Put it in his pocket. Then he went shopping. No cameras this time. No security team. No driver. Just Caleb, alone, walking through a department store at 7 a.m. He bought clothes. Size 11, the tag said. He guessed. Small for her age, probably. Years of hunger would do that. Sneakers. Not expensive ones. She'd think he was showing off. Simple ones. Comfortable. A jacket. Thick. Warm. The kind that could survive winter on the streets. A backpack. Sturdy. The kind that could carry everything you own. He paid cash. Kept his head down. Nobody recognized him without the suit and the entourage. At a bookstore, he stopped. What does a 12-year-old girl like? He had no idea. He'd missed 12 years of knowing her. He asked the cashier. If you were buying a book for someone who's been through a lot. Someone who's strong but tired. What would you pick? The woman thought for a moment. Then handed him a book. The Wild Robot. It's about someone who doesn't belong, trying to survive in a world that doesn't want them. But they find family anyway. Perfect. He bought 3 copies. In case she lost one. Or wanted to throw one at him. Next stop, a diner. He ordered breakfast to go. Pancakes. Eggs. Bacon. Orange juice. Hot chocolate. The kind of meal he'd watched Lila devour 1,000 times. The kind he'd never bought for her sister. He drove to the bridge. The same one where they'd stood in the rain. Where she'd screamed at him. Where she'd told him her truth. He parked. Got out. Walked beneath the concrete pillars. And he left everything there. The bags of clothes. The shoes. The jacket. The backpack. The books. The food. No note. No cameras. No witnesses. Just an offering. A silent promise that said, I'm here. Even when you can't see me. Then he left. He did it again the next night. Different bridge. Same setup. Clean socks. A flashlight. Batteries. A first aid kit. The next night, a blanket. A pillow. A stuffed animal, stupid, maybe, but she was still a kid. She deserved to be a kid. The night after that, soap. Shampoo. Toothbrush. Toothpaste. All the small dignities he'd taken for granted. He never stayed. Never watched. Never waited to see if she'd take them. Because this wasn't about him getting credit. This was about showing up. On the 5th night, he arrived to find the bags gone. His heart jumped. She'd taken them. He stood there in the dark, staring at the empty space, and felt something he hadn't felt in weeks. Hope. He left more. A journal. Pens. A portable phone charger. Granola bars. Water bottles. Gone by morning. Every night, he came back. Every night, he left something. And every morning, it was gone. They never spoke. Never saw each other. But it was communication. Slowly, silently, he was learning her language. The language of someone who'd been abandoned so many times she couldn't trust words anymore. So he stopped using them. 2 weeks passed. Caleb's face disappeared from the headlines. New scandals replaced him. The world moved on. But he didn't. Every night. Same time. Different locations. Always the places he thought she might be. Under bridges. Behind shelters. In alleys. He became a ghost in his own city. No one recognized the billionaire in worn jeans and a hoodie, leaving bags under overpasses at midnight. His board demanded meetings. He didn't show up. His lawyers called. He didn't answer. Lila texted, "Where are you?" He replied, "Trying to fix what I broke." She didn't respond. On the 16th night, something changed. Caleb arrived at the usual spot, an abandoned parking garage where he knew she sometimes slept. He left the bag. Dinner, a book, new gloves. He turned to leave. And stopped. On the ground, arranged carefully in broken glass, were 4 words. "Thank you." Still angry. Caleb's breath caught. She was talking to him. Not with her voice. But with the only language she trusted. He pulled out his phone. Used the flashlight to write a message back in chalk on the concrete. "I know. I'll wait." Then he left. The next night, there was more glass arranged on the ground. "Why now?" He wrote back. "Because I'm finally brave enough to face what I did." The next night, "Will you stop if I ask?" His response, "No. Not until you tell me you're safe." Next night, "What if I'm never safe?" He stared at those words for a long time. Then wrote, "Then I'll be here every night until you are." 3 nights later, he arrived and found something different. The bag he'd left the night before was still there. Unopened. But next to it was a piece of paper, weighted down by a rock. His hands shook as he picked it up. "My name isn't Dawn. I looked at the journal page you left. That's what she wanted. But I never got to be that person. I'm Sky. That's who I made myself into. If you want to know me, you have to know I'm not the daughter she dreamed about. I'm the one who survived." Caleb read it 3 times. Then he wrote back on another piece of paper. "Then I want to know, Sky. Not who I wanted you to be. Who you are." He left it there. Walked back to his car. And for the first time in 16 days, he smiled. The next morning, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. "There's a coffee shop on 8th and Main. I'll be there tomorrow. 3 p.m. Back corner. Don't bring anyone. Don't make a scene. Just, show up." Caleb stared at the message. She was ready. After 12 years, 2 weeks of silence, and 16 nights of proving himself in the dark. His daughter was giving him a chance. He typed back with trembling fingers. "I'll be there." 3 dots appeared. Then. "Don't be late. I don't wait for people who've already left me once." The message was harsh. But it was honest. And Caleb would take honest over pretty any day. He set 17 alarms for the next day. Because he'd rather die than be late for this. Caleb arrived at 2 p.m. 1 hour early. He ordered black coffee he didn't drink and sat in the back corner, facing the door. Every time the bell chimed, his heart stopped. 2:15, not her. 2:30, not her. 2:45, not her. At 2:58, he started sweating. What if she changed her mind? What if this was a test he'd already failed by showing up? At 3 o'clock exactly, the door opened. Sky walked in. She wasn't barefoot this time. She wore the sneakers he'd left. The jacket. Her hair was cleaner. But her eyes, still guarded, still hard, scanned the room like a trapped animal looking for exits. She saw him. Froze for half a second. Then walked over. Caleb stood up too fast. Knocked his coffee. It spilled across the table. Sorry, He grabbed napkins, hands shaking so badly he made it worse. Sit down, Sky said quietly. You're making a scene. He sat. She sat across from him, as far back in the booth as possible. Maximum distance. Silence stretched between them like a canyon. Thanks for coming, Caleb finally said. I almost didn't. I know. She studied him. You look terrible. He did. 2 weeks of sleeping in his car, skipping meals, living in the margins of his own life had carved him hollow. Yeah, well. He tried to smile. Failed. Guilt's not a good look on me. Good. The word was sharp. Meant to cut. It worked. More silence. A waitress approached. Can I get you anything, sweetie? Sky glanced at the menu. Then at Caleb. I don't have money. I do, he said quickly. Get whatever you want. She ordered carefully. Not the cheapest thing. But not the most expensive either. A test, maybe. To see if he'd judge her. Hot chocolate. Grilled cheese. Fries. The waitress smiled. Coming right up. When she left, Sky's walls went back up. I'm only here because I want answers. Okay. And if I don't like what you say, I'm leaving. Okay. And you don't get to follow me. Okay. She leaned forward, eyes blazing. Stop saying okay. Stop being so agreeable. Get mad. Defend yourself. Tell me I'm being unfair. Caleb shook his head slowly. You're not being unfair. You're being honest. And I'd rather have your anger than your silence. That seemed to catch her off guard. She leaned back, arms crossed. Fine. Then answer this, why? The same question from the bridge. But this time, he was ready. Because I was 26 years old, alone, and drowning. Your mother died on a Tuesday. On Wednesday, the hospital told me one baby was stable, the other wasn't. On Thursday, I had to plan a funeral. On Friday, I had to decide if I could raise 2 babies when I couldn't even get out of bed. His voice cracked. And I chose wrong. I convinced myself you'd be better off with a family who wasn't broken. That Lila needed me more because she was stronger. But the truth? He looked her dead in the eyes. I was scared. Terrified. And instead of being brave enough to love you both, I threw you away so I'd only have to grieve one loss instead of 2. Sky's jaw tightened. So you admit it. You took the easy way out. Yes. And I paid for it. Yes. For 12 years. Yes. She slammed her hand on the table. Then how dare you show up now and act like sorry fixes it? How dare you leave little bags of stuff like I'm some charity case? How dare you? Her voice broke. She was crying. Angry tears that she swiped away violently. How dare you make me hope, she whispered. Caleb's throat closed up. I spent 12 years knowing you didn't want me, she continued, voice shaking. I made peace with it. I built a life around it. And then you show up and you're there every night and you leave things and you write messages and she covered her face with her hands. You make me want to believe you changed. And I hate you for it. I know. Because what if you leave again? Her hands dropped. Her eyes were raw. Desperate. What if I let you in and you decide I'm too broken or too angry or too much work? I won't. You don't know that. She was shouting now. People were staring. She didn't care. You don't know what you'll do when it gets hard. You already proved you run when things get bad. Caleb felt like he'd been punched. Because she was right. He had run. He did leave. And words wouldn't convince her otherwise. The waitress brought the food. Set it down carefully. Left quickly. Sky stared at the plate. Didn't touch it. Caleb leaned forward. You're right. I can't promise I won't fail you again. I can't promise I won't screw this up. But I can promise I'll show up every single day and try. Even when it's hard. Even when you hate me. Even when it feels impossible. That's not good enough. I know. But it's all I have. Sky picked up a fry. Ate it slowly. Lila knows. Yes. Does she hate you too? Yes. Something flickered in Sky's expression. Good. Caleb almost laughed. Almost. You two have that in common. We have more than that in common. We're twins. Do you want to meet her? Sky's whole body went rigid. No. Why not? Because she got everything I didn't. And I don't know if I can look at her without wanting to scream. Caleb nodded slowly. Fair. You keep saying that. Stop being so understanding. What do you want me to be? Human, she snapped. Be human. Get defensive. Tell me I'm being difficult. You're not difficult. You're hurt. Stop. She threw the fry down. Stop being so calm. Like you've got all the answers figured out. I don't have any answers, Caleb said, voice rising for the first time. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to make up for 12 years. I don't know how to be your father when I barely know how to be Lila's. I'm terrified every second that I'll say the wrong thing and you'll disappear and I'll never see you again. The whole coffee shop went silent. Caleb's chest heaved. Is that human enough for you? Sky stared at him. Then, slowly, she picked up her grilled cheese. Took a bite. Better, she said quietly. They sat in silence while she ate. Caleb didn't touch his coffee. When she finished, she wiped her mouth and stood up. I'm leaving now. Caleb's heart sank. Okay. But I'm not disappearing. He looked up sharply. I'll text you tomorrow, she said. Maybe. Okay. And if you push me, I'm gone. Okay. And you have to tell Lila the truth. All of it. She deserves to know she has a sister. I will. Sky hesitated. Then reached into her jacket pocket. Pulled out the journal page, the one where her mother had named her Dawn. She set it on the table between them. I read this 100 times, she said softly. And every time, it made me angry. Because she wanted me to be someone I'm not. Caleb's throat tightened. But then I realized, Sky continued, she didn't get to be anyone either. She died before she could be my mom. Her voice cracked. So maybe we're both just trying to figure out who we are without her. Caleb couldn't speak. Sky turned to leave. Stopped. Looked back. One more thing. Anything. If you want to be my father, you don't get to be the hero. You don't get redemption. You just get to show up. Every day. Even when I don't want you to. Deal. She nodded once. Then walked out. The bell chimed. And Caleb sat alone in the coffee shop, staring at the journal page on the table, crying for the second time in 2 weeks. But this time, they weren't tears of despair. They were tears of something fragile and terrifying. Hope. Lila refused to see him for 3 days after the coffee shop meeting. Caleb texted updates anyway. Met with Sky today. She's angry but talking. Left her dinner at the usual spot. She took it. She asked about you. No responses. On the 4th day, Lila's doctor called. She's being discharged tomorrow. She's asking if you'll be there to take her home. Caleb's chest tightened. Did she say she wants me there? Pause. She said, I guess he has to be. Not exactly a warm invitation. But he'd take it. The next morning, Caleb arrived with flowers. Lila sat on the hospital bed, dressed in jeans and a hoodie, staring out the window. She didn't turn when he entered. Hey, baby girl. Don't call me that. He set the flowers on the table. You ready to go home? Is it still my home? Or am I sharing it now? The words were ice. Caleb sat down slowly. Lila, I know you're angry. Angry? She finally looked at him. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. I'm not angry, Dad. I'm confused. Because the sister I didn't know I had saved my life. And you never told me she existed. I was wrong. You were selfish. Her voice was steady. Cold. You decided I was worth keeping and she wasn't. What does that say about me? It says nothing about you. It was about me being a coward. No. Lila stood up. It says you thought I was better. Stronger. More valuable. And now I have to live knowing my entire life was built on her being thrown away. Caleb felt like the room was spinning. That's not. Did you even think about her? Once? In 12 years, did you wonder if she was okay? Silence. Lila laughed bitterly. That's what I thought. I'm trying to fix it now. You can't fix this. She was yelling now. You can't just apologize and buy her things and make it go away. She lived on the streets, Dad. While I had everything. How is that fair? It's not fair. None of this is fair. Then why did you do it? Because I was broken and weak and I made a choice I'll regret for the rest of my life. Good. Lila grabbed her bag. Because I'll regret it too. Every time I look in the mirror, I'll see the daughter you chose. And I'll hate it. She pushed past him toward the door. Lila, wait. I'm going home. You can drive me or not. I don't care. The car ride was silent. Lila stared out the window. Caleb gripped the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping him from falling apart. Halfway home, she spoke. I want to meet her. Caleb's head snapped toward her. What? Sky. My sister. I want to meet her. She's not ready. I don't care if she's ready. I'm ready. Lila turned to face him. You don't get to control this anymore. She's my sister. I deserve to know her. She specifically said she didn't want to meet you. Why? Because she hates me? No. Because she thinks you got everything she didn't. She's right. Lila's voice cracked. I did. And I want to tell her I'm sorry. You didn't do anything wrong. Neither did she. Tears spilled down Lila's cheeks. She didn't do anything wrong and she got punished anyway. At least let me apologize for existing when she couldn't. Caleb pulled over. Put the car in park. Turned to his daughter. Baby, this isn't your fault. Then whose fault is it? She was sobbing now. Yours? Mom's? God's? Because someone has to be responsible for the fact that I'm here and she was nowhere. Caleb reached for her. She pushed him away. Don't touch me. Just tell me how to find her. I can't do that. Why not? Because she trusted me. And if I give you her location without her permission, I break that trust. And I've already broken enough. Lila stared at him. Then nodded slowly. Fine. Then give her a message. What message? Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her I didn't know. Tell her, her voice broke. Tell her I wish it had been me instead. Lila, don't say that. Why not? It's true. She was screaming now. I would trade places with her in a heartbeat. Let her have the 12 years of safety and I'll take the streets. At least then this guilt would make sense. Stop it. No. She slammed her hands against the dashboard. You don't get to tell me how to feel. You don't get to make this okay. You ruined 3 lives, Dad. Hers, mine, and yours. And now we all have to figure out how to live with it. She opened the car door. Stepped out onto the sidewalk. Lila, get back in the car. I'm walking home. Don't follow me. It's 3 miles. I don't care. She slammed the door and started walking. Caleb sat there, frozen, watching his daughter disappear down the street. Then his phone buzzed. Sky. I heard about Lila getting discharged. How'd it go? He stared at the message. Then typed. She hates me. Wants to meet you. Blames herself for existing. 3 dots. Then. Sounds like we have more in common than I thought. Caleb's hands shook as he typed. She said she wishes it had been her instead of you. Long pause. Then. Tell her that's stupid. She didn't choose this. You did. She won't listen to me. Then maybe she'll listen to me. Caleb's heart stopped. What does that mean? Another pause. Longer this time. Give me her number. 20 minutes later, Lila's phone buzzed. She was halfway home, walking fast, tears still streaming. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Then something made her pick up. Hello? Silence. Then a voice. Young. Nervous. Is this Lila? Lila stopped walking. Who is this? You know who this is. Her breath caught. Sky. Yeah. Silence stretched between them. Heavy. Impossible. How did you get my number? Lila whispered. Dad gave it to me. The word Dad sounded wrong in Sky's voice. Like she was testing it. Tasting it. Not sure if she was allowed to use it. Why are you calling? Lila asked. Because apparently you're being an idiot. Lila blinked. Excuse me? You heard me. Our father said you're out here wishing you'd been the one abandoned. That's stupid. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, Sky interrupted. You feel guilty for being chosen. I get it. But guilt doesn't fix anything. It just makes you feel better about feeling bad. Lila's jaw dropped. How dare you? How dare I what? Tell you the truth? Sky's voice was sharp. You want to apologize for existing? Fine. Apology not accepted. Because you didn't do anything wrong. Neither did you. Exactly. Sky shouted. So stop acting like one of us has to be the villain. We're both victims of the same man's bad choice. Lila stood frozen on the sidewalk, phone pressed to her ear, tears streaming. Her voice broke. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For what? For living? For being loved? For not knowing? Sky's voice softened slightly. Save your sorry. I don't want it. Then what do you want? Silence. Then, quietly, I don't know yet. Lila swallowed hard. Do you hate me? I don't know you well enough to hate you. Do you want to? Want to hate you? No. Want to know me? Another pause. Longer. Maybe, Sky finally said. But not yet. When? When I'm ready. Not when you feel guilty enough to make yourself feel better. The words stung. But they were fair. Okay, Lila whispered. Okay. Neither hung up. They just breathed into the phone. Two sisters. Same DNA. Different worlds. Finally, Sky spoke again. For what it's worth. I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad I saved you. Lila started crying harder. Why? After everything, why would you? Because you're my sister. And I spent 12 years wishing I had one. Sky's voice cracked. I'm still angry. Still hurt. But I don't hate you. I don't hate you either. Good. Can I ask you something? Maybe. What do you need? From me. From Dad. From anyone. What do you actually need? Silence. Then, time. Space. And proof that I'm not just a project you're both working on to feel less guilty. You're not a project. Prove it. And then she hung up. Lila stood there, staring at her phone, tears and snot running down her face. Then she started walking again. Not toward home. Toward her father's car, still parked 3 blocks back. Because maybe, just maybe, fixing this would take all 3 of them. And for the first time since waking up, Lila felt like she had a purpose. The video went viral at 11 p.m. Someone at the coffee shop had recorded everything. The conversation. The tears. Sky walking out. By midnight, it had 10 million views. By 2 a.m., 50 million. The caption read, "Billionaire begs abandoned daughter for forgiveness. Watch her destroy him." Caleb's phone exploded with notifications. Calls. Texts. Emails. He ignored all of them. Because at 2:17 a.m., one text came through that made his blood run cold. Sky. You set me up. His hands shook as he typed back. What? No. I didn't know anyone was recording. Liar. You probably paid them. Get the sympathy vote. Make yourself look good. Sky, I swear I had nothing to do with this. I trusted you. I showed up. I let my guard down. And now I'm a meme. She sent a screenshot. Someone had taken a photo of her crying at the table and turned it into a joke. When your absent dad tries to buy you with a grilled cheese. Thousands of comments. Laughing. Mocking. Analyzing. Caleb felt sick. I'm going to find who did this. I'm going to sue them. I'm going to. You're going to leave me alone. That's what you're going to do. Please, let me fix this. You can't fix this. My face is everywhere. People know what I look like. Where am I supposed to hide now? His throat closed. Come stay with me. I have security. I can protect you. From who? From you? You're the reason this happened. I didn't post that video. But you created the situation. You wanted to meet in public. You wanted people to see you trying. That's not true. Then why didn't we meet somewhere private? Why a coffee shop where anyone could see? Caleb stared at his phone. She was right. He'd chosen a public place because some part of him, some small, selfish part, wanted witnesses. Wanted proof he was trying. And now she was paying for it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No response. Sky, please. Talk to me. Nothing. Sky. 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Finally. I'm done. Don't contact me again. And then she blocked him. Caleb didn't sleep. At 6 a.m., he drove to every spot he'd left supplies. Every bridge. Every alley. Every place she might be. Empty. He called Morris. Find her. Use every resource. I don't care what it costs. Sir, maybe you should give her space. Find her. By noon, Morris called back. She's gone. Completely off-grid. No shelter check-ins. No security footage. Nothing. That's impossible. She's a kid who's been surviving on the streets for a year. She knows how to disappear. Caleb hung up and screamed into his empty car. The media was relentless. Billionaire's public apology backfires. Abandoned daughter becomes internet sensation. Did Caleb Langford stage reconciliation for PR? His company's stock dropped another 15 points. Board members demanded his immediate resignation. Protesters gathered outside his office building with new signs, "Leave Sky alone," and "Stop exploiting your daughter." At 3 p.m., his assistant quit. I can't work for someone who uses his own child for publicity. I didn't. It doesn't matter what you intended. It's what happened. She walked out. By 5 p.m., 3 more employees had resigned. By 7 p.m., Caleb's face was on every news channel. A crisis management expert on CNN, "This is a masterclass in how not to handle a family scandal." A psychologist on Fox, "That poor girl is being re-traumatized in real time." A Twitter thread with 200k likes, "Caleb Langford abandoned his daughter once. Now he's exploiting her trauma for redemption. She deserves better." They were right. All of them. At 9 p.m., Lila showed up at his penthouse. She didn't knock. Used her key. Walked in. Caleb sat in the dark living room, staring at nothing. "I saw the video," she said. He didn't respond. "Everyone's calling you a monster." Still nothing. "Are you just going to sit here?" Finally, he spoke. Voice hollow. "What else can I do? I destroyed her life. Again." Lila sat down across from him. "Did you know someone was recording?" "No." "Did you choose that coffee shop to make yourself look good?" He hesitated. "I don't know. Maybe. Subconsciously. Then you messed up." "I know. But sitting here feeling sorry for yourself doesn't help her." He looked up. "She blocked me. She's gone. What am I supposed to do?" Lila pulled out her phone. "She didn't block me." Caleb's breath caught. "She contacted you?" "No. But I can still text her." Lila started typing. "And unlike you, I don't have a reputation to rebuild. I'm just her sister. Who wants to help?" "Lila, she doesn't want. I don't care what she wants right now. I care about what she needs." Lila hit send. "And she needs to know that not everyone is trying to use her." Caleb stared at his daughter. "When did you get so smart?" "Probably around the time I realized my father was an idiot." Despite everything, he almost smiled. Almost. Across the city, Sky sat in an abandoned warehouse, phone in hand. She'd been watching the video on loop. Watching herself cry. Watching the comments roll in. She's so brave. He doesn't deserve her. Someone adopt this girl, please. Thousands of strangers who didn't know her. Didn't care about her. Just loved the drama. Her phone buzzed. A text from Lila. I know you're hurting. I know you probably hate all of us right now. But I need you to know something, I'm not Dad. I'm not trying to fix you or use you or make myself feel better. I just want you to be safe. And if that means you never talk to us again, fine. But please, please, just let me know you're okay. You don't have to tell me where you are. Just, send me anything. A word. An emoji. Proof of life. Because I can't sleep knowing you're out there alone. Sky stared at the message. Then at the video. Then back at the message. Finally, she typed one word. Breathing. Lila's response came instantly. Thank God. Then. I'm not going to ask where you are. I'm not going to push. But if you need anything, food, clothes, money, a place to crash, I'll help. No strings. No cameras. No dad involved unless you want him. Sky's vision blurred. Why? Because you're my sister. And I don't abandon family. The words hit like a punch. Sky closed her eyes. Let the tears fall. Then typed. I need time. You've got it. And I need people to stop talking about me. Working on it. How? You'll see. The next morning, Lila posted a video. Just her. Sitting in her hospital bed. Looking directly at the camera. My name is Lila Langford. And I need to say something about my sister. The internet held its breath. Her name is Sky. Not, abandoned daughter. Not, billionaire's mistake. Sky. She's a real person with real feelings. And everyone dissecting her trauma for entertainment needs to stop. Comments started flooding in. She saved my life, Lila continued. When I was dying, she showed up. A stranger. My sister. And she gave me a second chance. Her voice cracked. But now she's being punished for it. Her face is everywhere. Her pain is being turned into memes. And it's not fair. She leaned closer to the camera. So here's what I'm asking, leave her alone. Stop sharing that video. Stop analyzing her tears. Stop treating her like content. She's not a story. She's my sister. And she deserves peace. Lila paused. And Dad? She looked off camera, where Caleb stood watching. You messed up. But I think you know that. What matters now is what you do next. She ended the video. Posted it. Within an hour, it had 20 million views. The tide started to shift. #ProtectSky started trending. Celebrities reposted it. The original video got taken down for violating privacy guidelines. Slowly, the internet's attention moved on. That night, Sky texted Lila. Thank you. You're welcome. That was brave. Learned it from you. Long pause. Then. Maybe we can meet. Someday. When I'm ready. Lila smiled through tears. I'll be here. Whenever you are. 3 weeks passed in careful silence. Caleb didn't push. Didn't search. Didn't show up at Bridges in the middle of the night. He went to work. Came home. Sat with Lila during dinner. Lived like a man learning to breathe underwater. Every night, he checked his phone. Nothing from Sky. But Lila got messages. Short ones. Random times. Saw a dog today. Made me think of you. Is winter always this cold? Thanks for the video. People stopped staring. Lila would read them aloud at dinner. Caleb would listen. Say nothing. Just absorb the fact that his daughter was alive and occasionally thought of them. It was more than he deserved. Then, on a Tuesday, Lila's phone buzzed during breakfast. She read it. Went pale. What? Caleb asked. She wants to meet. His coffee cup froze halfway to his mouth. When? Saturday. But, Lila looked up. She only wants me. The words hit him like a door slamming shut. Oh. Dad. No, it's fine. That's good. You two should meet. Are you sure? He wasn't. But he nodded anyway. Yeah. She needs to do this her way. Lila reached across the table. Squeezed his hand. Thank you. Saturday came too fast and too slow. Lila changed outfits 4 times. What do you wear to meet the sister you didn't know existed? Caleb sat on her bed, watching. Something comfortable. Something that says you're not trying too hard. She settled on jeans and a sweater. Simple. Real. What if she hates me? Lila asked, staring at herself in the mirror. She won't. How do you know? Because she agreed to meet you. Lila turned around. What if I say the wrong thing? Then you apologize and try again. What if she leaves? Then you let her go. Lila's eyes filled with tears. I don't want to lose her before I even know her. Caleb stood. Pulled his daughter into a hug. Then just be yourself. That's all you can do. They'd agreed to meet at a park. Neutral ground. Public but not crowded. Caleb drove Lila there. Parked 3 blocks away like Sky had instructed. She doesn't want to see you, Lila said gently. I know. She's still angry. I know. It might take a long time. I know. He squeezed the steering wheel. Tell her, his voice broke. Tell her I'm proud of her. For being strong. For surviving. For giving you a chance. Lila leaned over. Kissed his cheek. I will. She got out of the car. Caleb watched her walk toward the park until she disappeared around a corner. Then he sat alone in his car and waited. Sky was already there. Sitting on a bench near the playground. Hood up. Hands in her pockets. Lila's heart hammered as she approached. Hi, she said softly. Sky looked up. Their eyes met. For a moment, neither spoke. They had the same nose. The same cheekbones. The same curve to their lips. Mirror images split by 12 years of different lives. Hi, Sky finally said. Lila sat down. Left space between them. Not too close. Silence stretched. This is weird, Lila said. Yeah. I don't know what to say. Me neither. They sat there. 2 strangers who shared everything and nothing. Finally, Sky spoke. You look different than I expected. Different how? I don't know. Smaller. I built you up in my head as this perfect person who got everything. But you're just a kid? Yeah. Lila smiled sadly. So are you. Sky pulled her knees to her chest. I haven't felt like a kid in a long time. I'm sorry. Don't. Sky's voice was firm but not harsh. I told you. I don't want your apologies. Then what do you want? Sky stared at the playground. Kids were running around. Laughing. Normal. I want to know what it was like, she said quietly. What was like? Growing up with him. With a father. With a home. Sky's voice cracked. I want to know what I missed. Lila's throat tightened. It wasn't perfect. I didn't ask if it was perfect. I asked what it was like. Lila took a breath. He was always working. Always busy. I saw him at breakfast and sometimes dinner. He missed recitals and games and parent-teacher conferences. But he was there. Yeah. He was there. And you never went to bed hungry. No. And you never slept outside. No. And you never had to wonder if anyone would care if you disappeared. Lila's vision blurred. No. Sky nodded slowly. That's what I thought. But I was lonely, Lila whispered. All the time. I had everything except the one thing that mattered. What's that? Someone who understood me. Lila turned to face her. I had friends at school. But they didn't get it. What it's like to have a parent who's there but not really there. Who loves you but doesn't know how to show it. Sky's jaw tightened. At least you had love. I had nothing. I know. And that's not fair. None of this is fair. Lila's voice broke. But I'm telling you this because I want you to know, having him wasn't the fairy tale you think it was. It was still more than I got. I know. They fell silent again. A kid on the swing shrieked with laughter. The sound cut through the tension. Do you remember Mom? Lila asked suddenly. Sky shook her head. I was 6 weeks old when she died. I don't remember her either. Dad keeps photos. But it's not the same as knowing her. What was she like? I don't know. That's the thing. I only know what Dad tells me. And I don't know if I can trust his version anymore. Sky looked at her. Really looked at her. You're mad at him too. Yeah. Why? Because he lied. Not just to you. To me. He let me believe I was an only child for 10 years. He looked me in the eye every single day and kept you a secret. Does that make you hate him? Lila thought about it. No. But it makes me not trust him. And I don't know how to fix that. Me neither. They sat with that truth between them. Finally, Sky spoke again. Can I ask you something? Anything. When you were in the coma. Did you really hear me? Lila nodded. Yeah. I heard everything. Doctors talking. Nurses. Dad crying. She paused. And then I heard you. Your voice was different. Quieter. But stronger. What did I say? You told me to follow the music. That someone was waiting for me. Sky's eyes widened slightly. I don't remember saying that. Maybe you didn't say it out loud. Maybe I just felt it. That's crazy. Yeah. But so is waking up from a 12-day coma. Sky almost smiled. Almost. Why did you do it? Lila asked. Why did you save me? The question hung in the air. Sky looked away. I don't know. I felt like I had to. Like if I didn't, I'd regret it forever. Even though you hated me? I didn't hate you. I hated the idea of you. Sky's voice was quiet. But when I saw you lying there, you were just a kid. Like me. And I thought, what if no one saves her? What if she dies because I was too angry to help? That's the bravest thing I've ever heard. It wasn't brave. It was selfish. How? Because I didn't do it for you. I did it so I could prove I was better than him. The honesty was brutal. Lila reached out slowly. Let her hand rest on the bench between them. Not touching. Just close. You are better than him, she said softly. Sky stared at Lila's hand. Then, slowly, so slowly it almost didn't happen, she moved her pinky finger. Let it rest against Lila's. The smallest touch. But it was everything. They stayed in the park for 2 hours. Talking. Sometimes crying. Sometimes just sitting in silence. When the sun started setting, Sky stood up. I should go. Lila stood too. Can we do this again? Sky hesitated. Maybe. When? I'll text you. Okay. Sky started to walk away. Stopped. Turned back. Lila? Yeah. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for letting me. Sky nodded once. Then disappeared into the evening shadows. Lila stood there for a long time. Then pulled out her phone. Texted her dad. She's amazing. I know. I think she's going to be okay. Because of you. No. Because of her. Lila walked back to the car. Caleb was waiting. His eyes were red. He'd been crying. How did it go? Lila climbed in. Smiled through her own tears. Like meeting the half of myself I didn't know was missing. Stop. Just stop for a second. If that line didn't hit you deep in your soul, check your pulse. This is the moment we've been waiting for, and if you've been holding your breath like I have, subscribe right now because this family's journey is far from over. Comment your favorite moment so far, I want to know what's hitting you the hardest. And if you have a sibling, go tell them you love them after this video. Now let's keep going. The meetings became routine. Every Saturday. Same park. Same bench. Sometimes they talked for hours. Sometimes they just sat in silence, watching people live normal lives. Lila learned that Sky loved dogs but never got to have one. That she could draw but had no paper. That she memorized license plates as a game to keep her mind sharp. Sky learned that Lila played violin until her fingers bled. That she was terrified of the dark. That she used to talk to an imaginary sister when she was little. Wait, Sky said one afternoon. You had an imaginary sister? Lila blushed. Yeah. Until I was like 7. I named her Stella. That's weird. I know. Dad thought I needed therapy. Did you go? For a month. Then I stopped talking about Stella and everyone forgot. Sky stared at her. What if you weren't imagining her? What do you mean? What if, Sky's voice dropped. What if some part of you knew I existed? Like a twin thing. Lila's skin prickled. That's impossible. So is waking up from a coma because a stranger sang to your dad. They sat with that silence. But while the sisters were building something fragile and new, Caleb was falling apart. He started showing up late to meetings. Missing calls. Forgetting appointments. His assistant found him asleep at his desk at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. Sir, you need to go home. Can't. Have a presentation at 7. That was yesterday. He looked up, confused. What? She set coffee in front of him. When's the last time you slept? Actually slept? He couldn't remember. Every night was the same. Lying awake. Staring at his phone. Waiting for a message that never came. Lila texted him updates. Photos sometimes. She laughed today. Real laugh. Thought you should know. He'd stare at those messages for hours. Zooming in on blurry background details, trying to catch a glimpse of his daughter. The daughter who wouldn't see him. Morris called one morning. The board scheduled an emergency meeting. About what? About you. They think you're unfit to lead. They're probably right. Caleb. I don't care about the company, Morris. I care about my daughters. Then maybe you should start acting like it. Because right now, you're disappearing on both of them. The words stung because they were true. That night, Lila confronted him. She found him in his study, staring at an old photo album. Pictures of him and their mother. The day the twins were born. His wife holding two tiny babies. Dad? He quickly closed the album. Hey, baby girl. Didn't hear you come in. You've been crying. I'm fine. No, you're not. She sat down across from him. You're getting worse. I'm just tired. You're depressed. The word hung between them. Caleb tried to laugh it off. I'm not. Yes, you are. You barely eat. You don't sleep. Morris says you missed 3 board meetings this month. Her voice cracked. Dad, you're falling apart. I'm handling it. No, you're not. She stood up, frustrated. You're sitting here drowning in guilt while pretending everything's fine. What do you want me to do, Lila? I want you to talk to someone. A therapist. A counselor. Anyone. That won't fix what I did. Nothing will fix what you did. She was crying now. But you can't just sit here waiting to die of shame. I need you. Sky might need you someday. And you're not going to be any good to either of us if you destroy yourself. Caleb stared at his daughter. 10 years old. And somehow wiser than him. When did you grow up? He whispered. Around the time my father stopped being able to. The next morning, Caleb made an appointment. Dr. Patricia Chen's office was small. Comfortable. Non-threatening. She was 50-ish. Kind eyes. No-nonsense voice. Tell me why you're here, she said. Caleb opened his mouth. Closed it. Where did he even start? I abandoned my daughter, he finally said. And now I don't know how to live with myself. Which daughter? The one I gave away. Sky. Dr. Chen nodded. Wrote something down. And how does that make you feel? Like a monster. Do you think you're a monster? Yes. Why? Because only a monster gives away their child. Dr. Chen leaned forward. Or a man who was drowning and didn't know how to ask for help. Caleb's throat tightened. That's not an excuse. It's not. But it's context. And context matters. They talked for an hour. About his wife's death. About the panic attacks he'd never told anyone about. About the nights he'd stood in the nursery, holding Lila, terrified he'd drop her because his hands wouldn't stop shaking. I couldn't do it, he whispered. I couldn't be what they needed. So I chose. And I've been paying for that choice every day since. Have you told Sky this? She won't talk to me. But she talks to Lila. Yes. Then maybe that's enough for now. It's not enough. His voice broke. I need her to know I'm sorry. She knows. What she doesn't know is if you'll stay. If you'll keep showing up when it gets hard. I will. Then prove it. Not to her. To yourself. Weeks passed. Caleb went to therapy every Tuesday. Started eating again. Sleeping better. Working normal hours. He stopped checking his phone every 5 minutes. Stopped showing up at places hoping to catch a glimpse of Sky. He gave her space. And slowly, painfully, he started forgiving himself. Not fully. Maybe never fully. But enough to function. Enough to be present for Lila. Enough to be ready if Sky ever gave him a chance. Then one Saturday, Lila came home from the park and said, "She asked about you." Caleb looked up from his book. "What?" "Sky. She asked how you were doing." His heart stopped. "What did you say?" "I said you were trying. Going to therapy. Getting better." And she said, "Good." Lila sat down beside him. Then she said something else. "What?" "She said maybe, just maybe, she might be ready to see you soon." "Not yet. But soon." Caleb's eyes filled with tears. "Dad, don't cry." "I'm not." He was. I'm just grateful." Lila hugged him. "She's scared, Dad. Really scared. But she's trying too." "I know. So don't mess it up." "I won't. I'm serious. If you hurt her again." "I know. I won't. I promise." Lila pulled back. Studied his face. "Okay. I believe you." That night, Caleb wrote a letter. Not to send. Just to write. To get the words out. "Dear Sky. I don't know if you'll ever read this. I don't know if you'll ever want to. But I need to say it anyway. I failed you. Not just once, but every day for 12 years. I told myself I was protecting you by letting you go. That someone else could love you better than I could. I was wrong. No one could have loved you better. Because no one else is your father. I am. And I should have fought for you. Should have been brave enough to keep you. Should have figured out how to be what you needed even when I was broken. But I wasn't. And now you're the one who has to live with my failure. I can't change the past. I can't give you back the childhood you deserved. But I can promise you this. From now on, I will show up. I will do the work. I will be the father I should have been from the beginning. Even if you never forgive me. Even if you never want to see me. I will be here. Always. Love. Dad." He folded the letter. Put it in an envelope. Wrote "Sky" on the front. And tucked it in his desk drawer. Maybe someday he'd give it to her. Or maybe she'd find it after he was gone. Either way, the words existed now. And that was enough. 2 weeks later, Lila's phone buzzed during dinner. She read the message. Looked up at her father. "She wants to meet you." Caleb's fork clattered to his plate. "When?" "Next Saturday. Same park. Will you be there?" Lila shook her head. "She wants it to be just you two." Terror and hope warred in his chest. What if? Don't. Lila reached across the table. Don't overthink it. Just show up. Be honest. And let her decide. What if she hates me? Then you deal with it. But at least you tried. Caleb nodded slowly. 1 week. He had 1 week to prepare for the most important conversation of his life. The one that would either rebuild his family. Or confirm he'd destroyed it forever. Saturday arrived like a storm. Caleb woke at 5 a.m. Couldn't eat. Couldn't sit still. Changed clothes 4 times. Lila found him at 1 p.m. sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. You're going to be late. What if she doesn't show up? She will. What if she changes her mind? Then you wait anyway. He looked at his daughter. What if I say the wrong thing? Lila sat beside him. Dad, there is no right thing. Just be honest. That's all she wants. How do you know? Because that's all I wanted when you told me the truth. And you did. And it hurt. But it was real. She squeezed his hand. Give her the same thing. He arrived 15 minutes early. The park was quiet. Weekend crowds hadn't formed yet. Just joggers and dog walkers. Caleb sat on the bench. The same one where Lila and Sky met every week. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. At exactly 2 p.m., he saw her. Walking slowly across the grass. Hood down this time. Hair pulled back. She looked so much older than 11. And so much like her mother it physically hurt. Sky stopped 10 feet away. Studying him. Hi, Caleb said softly. Hi. Thanks for coming. She didn't move closer. Lila said you've been going to therapy. Yeah. Every week. Does it help? Sometimes. Silence fell between them. Heavy. Fragile. Can I sit? Sky finally asked. Please. She sat on the far end of the bench. Maximum distance while still technically being together. They stared straight ahead. Not at each other. This is weird, Sky said. Yeah. I don't know what to say. Me neither. More silence. A kid on a bike rode past. Normal Saturday afternoon. Normal life happening around them while nothing about this was normal. Why did you agree to see me? Caleb asked quietly. Sky pulled her knees up. Because Lila wouldn't shut up about you. Despite everything, he almost smiled. She's persistent. She's annoying. Yeah, she is. But she loves you. Sky's voice was flat. Stating a fact, not an accusation. And I wanted to understand why. Did you figure it out? No. The word landed like a stone. Caleb swallowed hard. That's fair. She says you're trying. That you're different now. I am. People don't just change because they feel bad. You're right. They change because they have to. Because the alternative is losing everything that matters. Sky turned to look at him for the first time. Really look at him. What matters to you? You. Lila. Being the father I should have been from the start. But you weren't. No. I wasn't. Why should I believe you'll be different now? Caleb turned to face her. Their eyes met. Brown meeting brown. Same shade. Same pain. You shouldn't. I haven't earned your trust. All I can do is show up. Every day. Every week. Every year. Until you either believe me or tell me to stop trying. And if I tell you to stop. His voice cracked. Then I'll respect that. But I'll never stop caring. I'll never stop being your father. Even if you don't want me to be. Sky's jaw tightened. You can't just decide you're my father now. You lost that right. You're right. Stop agreeing with me. What do you want me to say? I want you to fight back. To defend yourself. To tell me I'm wrong. Her voice was rising. Because if you just sit there and take it, it means you don't actually care. You're just guilty. I am guilty. I know that. She was shouting now. People were staring. She didn't care. But guilt isn't love. Guilt is just you feeling bad about yourself. I need to know if you actually want me or if I'm just a mistake you're trying to fix. The words hung in the air. Caleb stood up. Sky flinched, thinking he was leaving. Instead, he dropped to his knees in front of her. Right there. In the dirt. In front of everyone. I want you, he said, voice breaking. Not because I'm guilty. Not because I'm trying to fix a mistake. I want you because you're my daughter. Because you're brave and strong and you survived 12 years of hell that I caused. Because when I look at you, I see your mother's courage and my biggest failure and the most important second chance I'll ever get. Tears were streaming down his face now. I want you because every day you weren't in my life was a day I was incomplete. Every birthday I missed was a wound I can't heal. Every night you spent cold and scared and alone was a night I should have been there. Sky's eyes were wide. Wet. I can't give you back those years, Caleb continued. I can't undo the pain. But I can give you every day forward. Every single one. If you'll let me. Why? Her voice was barely a whisper. Why now? Because I'm finally brave enough to deserve you. Sky stared at him. Then something broke. She started crying. Not quietly. Big, heaving sobs that shook her whole body. Caleb didn't move. Didn't reach for her. Just stayed on his knees, waiting. Finally, Sky spoke through her tears. I wanted to hate you. I know. I wanted to make you hurt the way you hurt me. I know. But I can't. Her voice cracked. Because as much as I want to hate you, I want a father more. Caleb's breath caught. I want someone to show up to things. To care if I'm okay. To remember my birthday. She was sobbing harder now. I want what Lila had. I want what I deserved. I want you to have wanted me. I did want you. I was just too broken to keep you. That's not good enough. I know. It never will be. But it's the truth. Sky covered her face with her hands. Caleb slowly, carefully, reached out. Let his hand rest on the bench beside her. Not touching. Just there. What do you need from me? He asked softly. Right now. In this moment. What do you need? Sky looked up. Her face was blotchy and wet and beautiful. I need you to promise you won't leave again. I promise. I need you to mean it. I do. I need, her voice broke. I need to know that if I let you in, you won't break me worse than I already am. Caleb's heart shattered. I can't promise I won't make mistakes. I can't promise I'll always get it right. But I can promise I will never, ever leave you again. Not by choice. Not for any reason. Sky searched his face. Looking for lies. For cracks. Finding only truth. Finally, she moved her hand. Placed it on top of his. The first time they'd touched in 12 years. Her hand was small. Rough. Scarred from survival. His was large. Trembling. Marked by age and regret. Together, they felt like the beginning of something impossible. I'm not ready to call you Dad, Sky whispered. That's okay. And I'm still angry. I know. And this doesn't mean everything's fine. I know. But maybe, she squeezed his hand. Maybe we can try. Caleb squeezed back. That's all I'm asking for. They sat there. Hands connected. Wounds open. Hope fragile but alive. And for the first time in 12 years, Caleb felt like maybe, just maybe, he could breathe again. The first dinner was a disaster. Caleb had prepared everything perfectly. Lila's favorite pasta. Garlic bread. Sparkling cider in fancy glasses. Sky walked in, saw the setup, and froze. This is too much. It's just dinner. No, it's you trying too hard. She backed toward the door. I can't do this. Lila jumped up. Sky, wait. I need air. She left before either could stop her. Caleb stood there, staring at the untouched table. I messed up. Yeah, Lila said. You did. How? You treated her like a guest. She doesn't want fancy. She wants normal. He looked at his daughter. I don't know what normal is with her. Then ask her. The next attempt was different. Pizza boxes on the coffee table. Paper plates. No candles. No pressure. Sky arrived 30 minutes late. Caleb didn't mention it. Pepperoni okay? He asked. Yeah. They ate in silence. Baseball game playing on TV. No one watching it. Finally, Sky spoke. Lila says you used to miss her recitals. Caleb winced. I did. Why? Work. Or at least that's what I told myself. Really, I was scared. Of what? Of being there and still feeling absent. Of looking at her and seeing all the ways I was failing. Sky grabbed another slice. That's stupid. Probably. She just wanted you there. It didn't have to be perfect. The words hit him. I know that now. Do you? He looked at her. What do you mean? You're doing the same thing with me. Trying to make everything perfect instead of just showing up. Caleb set his pizza down. You're right. Stop saying that. What? You're right. You keep agreeing with everything. It's annoying. Despite himself, Caleb smiled. Okay. You're wrong. About what? Nothing. You just said stop agreeing. Sky almost laughed. Almost. You're weird. Takes one to know one. This time she did laugh. Small. Quick. But real. Lila grinned. See? Normal. They started small. Wednesday coffee shop visits. Not the same one as before. A quiet place with no one who recognized them. Caleb learned that Sky drank hot chocolate with extra marshmallows. That she bit her nails when nervous. That she always sat facing the door. Why? He asked one day. So I can see who's coming. You're safe here. I know. But habits don't die easy. He didn't push. Instead, he told her about his own habits. How he checked locks 3 times before bed. How he couldn't sleep without white noise. How he still kept her mother's voicemail saved on his phone. Can I hear it? Sky asked suddenly. What? Mom's voice. Caleb's hand trembled as he pulled out his phone. Found the old message. Hit play. Hey, babe. Just checking in. The girls are perfect. Both of them. I'm coming home tomorrow. I love you. Her voice was warm. Tired. Happy. Sky closed her eyes. Listened to it 3 times. She sounds nice, she whispered. She was. She would have loved you. How do you know? Because she fought for you. Every single day in that NICU. She refused to leave until you were strong enough. But then she left anyway. Not by choice, baby. The word slipped out. Baby. Sky stiffened. Caleb caught himself. Sorry. I didn't mean. It's okay. Her voice was quiet. Just give me time. All the time you need. Time revealed small things. Sky sketched on napkins when she was thinking. Always faces. Always sad eyes. She flinched when doors slammed. She counted everything. Steps. Tiles. People passing by. Why do you do that? Lila asked one Saturday. Keeps my brain busy. If I'm counting, I'm not thinking about bad stuff. What bad stuff? Sky shrugged. The past. Where I'll sleep tonight. If this will last. Caleb's chest tightened. You can stay with us. You know that, right? I'm not ready for that. Why not? Because what if it doesn't work? What if I'm too messed up? What if? What if it does work? Lila interrupted. What if you're exactly where you're supposed to be? Sky looked at her sister. You don't get it. Then explain it to me. Every time I've let myself hope, it got taken away. Foster homes. Group placements. People who said they cared but didn't. Her voice cracked. I can't survive losing another family. Then don't think of us as family yet, Caleb said. Think of us as people who care about you. No labels. No pressure. Just three people trying to figure this out together. Sky wiped her eyes. That's still scary. I know. But we're scared too. Of what? Of losing you again. Week by week, trust built in inches. Sky started texting Caleb directly. Short messages. Nothing deep. Rain today. Saw a dog that looked like the one from the park. Thanks for the jacket. It's warm. He never pushed for more. Just responded. Showed up. Stayed consistent. Then one Thursday, his phone rang at 2 a.m. Unknown number. Hello? Breathing. Shaky. Scared. Sky. Yeah. What's wrong? Nothing. Her voice broke. I had a nightmare. And I didn't know who else to call. Caleb sat up, heart pounding. I'm here. I'm listening. It was about Mom. About the accident. Except in the dream, she was coming back for me. And I woke up and remembered she's gone and I'll never, she sobbed. I'll never know her. I know, sweetheart. I know. It's not fair. No. It's not. They stayed on the phone for an hour. Caleb talked about her mother. Little things. How she hummed while cooking. How she laughed too loud at bad jokes. How she cried during commercials. She would have been so proud of you, he said finally. How do you know? Because I am. And I'm the one who failed you. Imagine how someone who loved you from the start would feel. Sky was quiet for a long time. Then, can I ask you something? Anything. Do you think she watches us? From wherever she is? I hope so. Me too. Her voice was small. Tired. I should go. Okay. But Sky? Yeah. Thank you for calling. It means more than you know. Yeah, well. Don't get used to it. But they both knew she would call again. The next Saturday, Sky showed up with a backpack. I'm still not staying permanently, she said quickly. Just a trial. A few nights. To see if it works. Caleb's eyes filled with tears. Okay. And I get my own room. Of course. And if it feels wrong, I leave. No guilt trips. Deal. She walked inside like she was approaching a cliff. Lila grabbed her hand. Come on. I'll show you your room. As they disappeared upstairs, Caleb stood in the doorway. His daughter was home. Not healed. Not fixed. But home. And for the first time in 12 years, their family was whole. Sky's room was on the second floor. End of the hall. Farthest from Caleb's bedroom. She'd requested that specifically. Lila had helped decorate it. Nothing fancy. Just clean sheets, a soft lamp, curtains that blocked out the city lights. There's a lock on the inside, Lila said, pointing to the door. If you need space, just lock it. We won't bother you. Sky tested the lock 3 times. Okay. Bathrooms across the hall. Towels are in the closet. There's a nightlight if you... I don't need a nightlight. I'm not a baby. I know. I just thought, Lila stopped. Sorry. Sky softened slightly. It's fine. Thanks. Lila hesitated at the door. Do you need anything else? No. Okay. Well. Good night. Good night. The door closed. Sky stood in the middle of the room, backpack still on her shoulders. She didn't unpack. Didn't sit. Just stood there, breathing too fast, feeling the walls close in. This was a mistake. She shouldn't be here. She should leave now before. A soft knock interrupted her spiral. It's just me, Caleb's voice came through. Can I come in? Sky stared at the door. Yeah. He opened it slowly. Stayed in the doorway. Didn't enter without permission. Just wanted to say goodnight. You already did. Downstairs. I know. But this is different. You're here. Under my roof. And I wanted you to know, his voice caught. I'm grateful. Sky crossed her arms. Don't be. I might leave tomorrow. That's okay. You'd be fine with that? No. But I'd understand. She studied his face. Looking for disappointment. Finding only patience. Why aren't you mad? She asked suddenly. Mad about what? That I won't unpack. That I'm standing here with my shoes on ready to run. That I can't just be normal and grateful like Lila. Caleb stepped into the room. Not close. Just past the doorway. Because you're not Lila. You've been hurt in ways she hasn't. You've learned to survive by being ready to run. That doesn't go away in one night. What if it never goes away? Then we'll work around it. Put your important stuff near the door. Keep your shoes by your bed. Whatever you need to feel safe. Sky's eyes stung. That's weird. Maybe. But you're my daughter. Weird comes with the territory. Despite herself, she smiled. Small. Brief. Caleb noticed. His heart soared. Get some sleep, he said softly. I'll be down the hall if you need anything. I won't. I know. But the offer stands. He closed the door behind him. Sky waited until his footsteps faded. Then she finally took off her backpack. But she didn't unpack it. She set it by the door. Just in case. She couldn't sleep. The bed was too soft. The room too quiet. The darkness too complete. On the streets, there was always noise. Cars. Voices. Sirens. You never had to be alone with your thoughts. Here, the silence was deafening. At 2 a.m., she gave up. Grabbed her backpack. Headed downstairs. The living room was dark except for one lamp in the corner. Caleb sat in the armchair, reading. He looked up when she appeared. Didn't seem surprised. Couldn't sleep? No. Me neither. She hovered in the doorway. Why are you down here? He closed his book. Old habit. I used to come down here when Lila was a baby. She'd wake up crying and I'd bring her down here until she calmed down. Did it work? Sometimes. Other times we'd both just sit here until sunrise. Sky moved closer. Sat on the far end of the couch. Maximum distance. They sat in silence. Finally, she spoke. The bed's too soft. You can sleep on the floor if that's easier. Really? Whatever makes you comfortable. She pulled her knees to her chest. Everything feels wrong. Like I'm pretending to be someone I'm not. Who are you pretending to be? Someone who belongs in a house like this. Caleb set his book aside. You do belong here. I don't feel like it. That's okay. Feelings take time to catch up. Sky stared at the coffee table. What if they never do? What if I'm here for weeks or months and I still feel like a stranger? Then we'll figure it out together. You keep saying that. We'll figure it out. But what if there's nothing to figure out? What if I'm just broken? You're not broken. Yes, I am. Her voice rose. Normal kids don't count tiles to fall asleep. Normal kids don't check exits everywhere they go. Normal kids don't. She stopped. Swallowed hard. Normal kids trust people. Trust isn't normal. It's earned. And no one's earned yours yet. The words settled over her. Not even you? She asked quietly. Especially not me. But I'm trying. Sky looked at him. Really looked at him. His tired eyes. His rumpled shirt. The book he'd been reading, Parenting Children with Trauma. You're reading parenting books? She almost smiled. He blushed. 4 of them, actually. Trying to understand how to help you. That's kind of pathetic. Yeah, well. I'm new at this. You raised Lila for 10 years. Lila's different. She didn't need me to learn trauma responses and grounding techniques. She just needed me to show up. He paused. You need more than that. And I'm trying to be more. Sky's throat tightened. No one had ever tried to understand her before. They just labeled her. Difficult. Damaged. Defiant. But here was this man, her father, reading books at 2 a.m. trying to decode her. Chapter 7, she said suddenly. What? In that book. Chapter 7 talks about sleep environments. It says trauma survivors need control over their space. You've read it? Library copy. Last year. She pulled her backpack closer. It also says rushing attachment makes it worse. Caleb nodded slowly. Then we won't rush. And it says healing isn't linear. I'm learning that. And it says, her voice cracked. It says most kids like me never get better. That's not what it says. It's what it means. No. Caleb leaned forward. It says healing takes time. That's different from never healing. Sky wiped her eyes angrily. I'm tired of waiting to feel normal. Then stop trying to feel normal. Just try to feel safe. That's enough for now. What if I never do? Then we'll figure out what safe looks like for you. Maybe it's sleeping with your backpack packed. Maybe it's eating standing up. Maybe it's never calling me dad. His voice was firm. I don't need you to be fixed, Sky. I just need you to be here. Something inside her cracked. She didn't move closer. Didn't hug him. But she stayed. They sat together in the lamplight until the sun came up. And when Lila found them there at 7 a.m., Caleb asleep in his chair, Sky curled on the couch with her backpack as a pillow, she didn't say a word. Just grabbed a blanket. Covered her sister. And let them be. 3 weeks in, everything fell apart. It started small. Sky forgot to text when she'd be late coming back from the library. Caleb called twice. No answer. By the third call, panic set in. "She's fine, Dad," Lila said. "She's probably just reading. It's been 4 hours. So she always texts. Maybe her phone died." But Caleb couldn't shake the feeling. The terrible certainty that she'd left. That he'd pushed too hard or not enough or said the wrong thing and now she was gone. When Sky finally walked through the door at 8 p.m., he was waiting in the foyer. "Where were you?" She stopped. "Library. I told you this morning. You said you'd be back by 5. I lost track of time. Your phone was off. It died. You couldn't find a charger?" Sky's expression hardened. "What is this? An interrogation?" "No, I was worried. I'm not a child. You're 11. I've been taking care of myself since I was born. I don't need you tracking me like I'm going to disappear. That's exactly what I'm afraid of." The words exploded out of him. Too loud. Too desperate. Sky froze. "You think I'm going to run," she said quietly. "That's what this is about." "I didn't say that. You didn't have to." Her voice was cold. Distant. "You've been waiting for me to leave since I got here. Every morning you look surprised I'm still at breakfast. Every night you check if my backpack's still in the room." Caleb's face went white. "I'm just what? Making sure your charity case doesn't bail?" She laughed bitterly. "I knew this was a mistake. Sky, please. You want to know why I was late? Because I was sitting in the library crying. Because for 3 hours I felt normal. Like a regular kid doing homework. And then I remembered I'm not normal. I'm the daughter you threw away who's now living in your house like some kind of pity project. That's not true. Isn't it?" Tears streamed down her face. "You don't trust me. You hover. You watch. You wait for me to prove I'm too damaged to keep." "I'm not," his voice broke. "I'm terrified of losing you again." "Well, guess what? You can't lose something you never really had." She turned and ran upstairs. The door slammed so hard the pictures on the wall shook. Caleb stood there, frozen, feeling like he'd just watched everything he'd built crumble. Lila appeared from the kitchen. "That went well." "Not now, Lila. No, we're doing this now." She stepped in front of him. "You're suffocating her. I'm trying to keep her safe. You're trying to control her. There's a difference. I just wanted to know where she was. She's not your prisoner, Dad. She's your daughter. And daughters need space to breathe." He sank onto the stairs. "What if she leaves?" "Then she leaves." "How can you say that so calmly?" "Because holding her too tight is exactly what's going to push her away." Lila sat beside him. "You did this with me too. After Mom died. You were so afraid of losing me that you never let me out of your sight. I couldn't have sleepovers. Couldn't ride my bike around the block. Couldn't exist without you panicking." Caleb stared at her. "I didn't realize." "I know. But I'm telling you now, if you don't give Sky room to choose to stay, she'll leave just to prove she can." He knocked on Sky's door an hour later. "Go away. I need to apologize." "Don't care. I'm coming in. It's locked." "I know. But I'm sitting out here until you're ready to talk." Silence. "Then, that's pathetic." "Yeah, well. I'm pathetic. We've established that." More silence. 5 minutes passed. 10. 15. Finally, the lock clicked. The door opened a crack. Sky stood there, eyes red and swollen. "What do you want?" To say I'm sorry. I was wrong to interrogate you. Wrong to assume the worst. Wrong to treat you like you're going to disappear. You don't trust me. No. I don't trust myself. I'm terrified that I'll mess this up and you'll leave and I'll have lost you twice. So you're smothering me to prevent that? I know it doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. You're scared. I get it. She leaned against the doorframe. But your fear doesn't get to become my cage. The words hit him like a slap. You're right. Stop saying that. What do you want me to say? I want you to mean it. I want you to actually change, not just agree and then do the same thing next week. Caleb stood up. Then tell me how. Tell me what you need. I need you to trust that I'll come back. I'm trying. No. You're hoping. That's different. She stepped into the hallway. Trust means letting me be late without calling 5 times. Trust means not checking my backpack to see if I'm packing to leave. Trust means believing I want to be here even when I'm angry or distant or having a bad day. What if you don't come back? Then you deal with it. But you don't get to hold me prisoner just because you're afraid. Caleb's voice dropped to a whisper. I can't lose you again. Then stop acting like you already have. They stood in the hallway, 3 feet apart, both crying. I don't know how to be a father to you, Caleb admitted. I keep getting it wrong. Good. What? I don't want a perfect father. I want a real one. One who messes up and admits it and tries again. She wiped her eyes. The hovering, the checking, the panic, it makes me feel like a problem to solve. Not a daughter. I'm sorry. I know. But sorry isn't enough anymore. I need to see change. What does that look like? It looks like you letting me go to the library without tracking my every move. It looks like you not checking if I'm still here every morning. It looks like you trusting that if I want to leave, I'll tell you first. Can you promise that? That you'll tell me? Sky hesitated. I can promise I'll try. But I can't promise I won't run when things get hard. It's what I do. It's how I've survived. Then I need to make sure things don't get so hard that running feels like your only option. She nodded slowly. Yeah. You do. They stood there in mutual understanding. Broken but honest. Can we start over? Caleb asked. Tomorrow? We can try. That's all I'm asking. Sky turned back to her room. Paused at the door. Dad? The word stopped him cold. She'd never called him that before. Yeah. Next time I'm late, just text once. If I don't respond in an hour, then you can panic. He almost laughed. Deal. The door closed softly this time. No slam. No anger. Just a daughter setting boundaries. And a father learning to respect them. That night, Caleb sat in his study and wrote a new rule on a notepad. Trust her until she gives you a reason not to. He taped it to his bathroom mirror. Read it every morning. And slowly, painfully, learn to let go. Not of her. Of his fear. When's your birthday? Lila asked one morning over cereal. Sky froze, spoon halfway to her mouth. Why? Because I want to know. Is that weird? A little. Well? Sky set her spoon down. March 14th. Lila's face fell. That was 2 months ago. Yeah. Did anyone celebrate with you? No. The word hung in the air like smoke. Caleb looked up from his coffee. We should do something. A belated birthday. Don't, Sky said quickly. It's fine. It's not fine. I said don't. Her voice was sharp. Final. I don't do birthdays. She left the table before anyone could argue. But Lila wouldn't let it go. Dad, we have to do something. She said no. She always says no. To everything. Because she's scared. Or because she means it. It's her 12th birthday. She deserves to be celebrated. Caleb rubbed his temples. Lila, we can't force this. I'm not forcing. I'm just, she paused. What if we do something small? Nothing big. Just cake and the three of us? She'll hate it. Maybe. But what if she doesn't? They planned it for Saturday. Small cake from the bakery down the street. Chocolate. Lila's guess at what Sky might like. No balloons. No decorations. No big production. Just family. When Sky came downstairs that morning, she immediately sensed something. What's going on? Nothing, Lila said too quickly. You're a terrible liar. Caleb emerged from the kitchen carrying a cake with 12 candles. Sky's face went blank. No. It's just cake. I said I don't do birthdays. I know, but... Did you not hear me? Or did you just decide my feelings don't matter? Caleb set the cake down. Your feelings do matter. Then why are you doing this? Her voice was rising. Getting sharp. Why do you always push? Always try to make me into some normal kid who wants normal things. We just wanted to celebrate you. I don't want to be celebrated. She was shouting now. I spent 11 birthdays alone. 11 years of watching other kids get parties and presents while I got nothing. And now you want to throw me a pity party like that fixes it? It's not a pity party. Yes it is. It's you trying to make yourself feel better about missing the first 11. Tears streamed down her face. You don't get to erase those years with cake and candles. Lila stepped forward. Sky, we're not trying to erase anything. Then what are you trying to do? Because from where I'm standing, it feels like you're trying to pretend I had a normal childhood when I didn't. We know you didn't, Caleb said quietly. That's exactly why we wanted to do this. Well, I don't want it. She grabbed her jacket. I'm leaving. Sky, wait. The door slammed. She didn't come back for 3 hours. Caleb and Lila sat in the living room, the cake still on the table, candles unlit. I told you, Caleb said. Shut up. Lila. No. You don't get to I told you so me right now. She stared at the cake. I just wanted her to feel special. I know. She deserves to feel special. I know. So why does she fight it so hard? Caleb sighed. Because accepting it means accepting she missed out. And that's too painful. When Sky finally came back, they were both waiting. She walked in slowly. Cautiously. I'm sorry I yelled. Don't be, Lila said. You were right. Sky blinked. What? We pushed. We should have asked first. Oh. Awkward silence. Then Caleb spoke. Can I ask you something? And you can say no. But I need to understand. Okay. Why does celebrating you feel so wrong? Sky sat down. Pulled her knees up. Because every birthday was a reminder. Of what? That I didn't matter enough to keep. Her voice was small. Other kids got parties. Got presents. Got told they were special. I got moved to a new foster home or forgotten completely. Caleb's heart broke. You mattered. You always mattered. Not to you. The words were a knife. You're right, he whispered. I failed you. On every single birthday. And I can never get those back. No. You can't. But I'm here now. And I want to celebrate you. Not to erase the past. But to start building something different. Sky looked at him. Then at Lila. Then at the cake. It's chocolate, Lila offered quietly. Your favorite. I guessed. How did you know? I didn't. I just hoped. Something in Sky's expression softened. You guessed right. So, Lila hesitated. Can we try again? Differently this time? How? You tell us what you want. Not what we think you should want. What you actually want. Sky thought for a long moment. I want to light the candles myself. Okay. And I want to blow them out without making a wish. Because wishes don't come true. Caleb's throat tightened. Okay. And I don't want presents. Or singing. Or any of that normal stuff. Done. But, her voice cracked. I want you both here. Just sitting with me. Making it not feel so lonely. We can do that, Lila whispered. They lit the candles together. 12 small flames flickering in the afternoon light. Sky stared at them. Then blew them out in one breath. No wish. No song. No celebration. Just a girl and her family sitting together in the quiet. Lila cut 3 pieces. They ate in silence. When Sky finished, she set her fork down. This doesn't fix everything, she said. We know, Caleb replied. And I'm still mad about the other birthdays. That's fair. But, she looked at both of them. This one was okay. Lila smiled. Just okay? Don't push it. Despite everything, they laughed. And for the first time in 12 years, Sky's birthday didn't feel like the loneliest day of the year. It felt like the beginning of something. Not perfect. Not healed. But hers. That night, Sky found a small box on her bed. No wrapping paper. Just a simple wooden box. Inside was a bracelet. Silver. Simple. Engraved with 3 words. You always mattered. No note. No explanation. But she knew who it was from. She put it on. And for the first time since arriving, she unpacked one item from her backpack. A small stuffed bear. Worn and patched and loved. She set it on her nightstand. Not because she was staying forever. But because maybe, just maybe, she was starting to believe she could. Downstairs, Caleb sat in his study. His phone buzzed. A text from Sky. Just 2 words. Thank you. He stared at it for a long time. Then typed back. Happy birthday, sweetheart. 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Finally. It was. Caleb closed his eyes and let himself cry. Because for the first time, they felt like tears of healing. Not just pain. 6 months passed like chapters in a book nobody wanted to end. Sky started school in September. Public school. Her choice. She didn't want private tutors or special treatment. I want to be normal, she'd said. You are normal, Caleb replied. You know what I mean. He did. The first day was hard. Teachers who knew her story tried too hard to be kind. Students who'd seen the viral videos stared. But Sky kept her head down. Did her work. Came home. And slowly, the novelty wore off. She made one friend. A girl named Maya who didn't ask questions. Just shared her lunch and talked about normal things like homework and annoying teachers. I like her, Sky told Lila one night. Because she doesn't treat you different? Because she doesn't treat me at all. She just exists next to me. It's nice. The backpack stayed by her bed for 3 months. Then one day, Caleb noticed it was in her closet. Not packed. Just stored. He didn't mention it. But his heart swelled. Therapy helped. Dr. Chen met with Sky twice a week. Sometimes together with Caleb. Sometimes alone. She's making progress, Dr. Chen told him in November. Slower than you'd like, I'm sure. But real progress. What does that look like? She's stopped checking exits constantly. She's sleeping better. She called you Dad twice last session without realizing it. Caleb's breath caught. She did? She did. And when I pointed it out, she didn't correct herself. Just shrugged and moved on. It was the smallest thing. And everything. Christmas came with careful negotiations. I don't want a big thing, Sky said. Define big, Lila countered. Tree is fine. Stockings are fine. But no presents. Everyone gets presents. I don't want them. They feel like you're trying to buy me. Caleb intervened. 1 gift each. That's it. And you get to give gifts too if you want. No pressure. Sky considered this. 1 gift? 1. Deal. Christmas morning was quiet. They sat around the tree in pajamas. Hot chocolate instead of coffee. No rush. No performance. Lila went first. She gave Sky a journal. Leather-bound. Beautiful. For your drawings, Lila said. And your thoughts. Whatever you want. Sky ran her fingers over the cover. It's perfect. Caleb's turn. He handed Sky a small envelope. Inside was a photo. The one from the hospital 12 years ago. Their mother holding 2 babies. But this time, there was something written on the back in his handwriting. Lila, my night. Sky. My dawn. Together, my complete day. Mom. Sky's hands trembled. You found what she wanted to call me. I did. It was in her journal. I wanted you to have it. I told you I'm not Dawn. I know. You're Sky. But I wanted you to know she saw you. She named you. She loved you. His voice cracked. Even though she never got to tell you. Sky clutched the photo to her chest and cried. Lila wrapped her arms around her sister. And Caleb watched his daughters hold each other and felt his broken family finally clicking into place. Then Sky pulled out 2 small wrapped packages. I know we said 1 each, but, she handed them out nervously. I made these. Lila opened hers first. A drawing. Pencil on paper. 2 girls sitting on a bench. 1 light, 1 dark. Same face. Different worlds meeting in the middle. It's us, Lila whispered. It's beautiful. Caleb opened his with shaking hands. It was another drawing. A man sitting alone in a hospital room. Head in his hands. But through the window, 2 small figures stood watching. Waiting. At the bottom, in Sky's handwriting. You were never alone. We were always there. Caleb couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. Just held the drawing and wept. I'm not good at saying things, Sky said quietly. But I wanted you to know, I see you trying. And it matters. Thank you, he managed. Thank you. That afternoon, they drove to the cemetery. All 3 of them. Sky had asked to go. First time since learning where her mother was buried. They stood at the grave together. wind cutting through the winter air. "Hi, Mom," Lila said softly. Sky said nothing. Just stared at the headstone. Finally, she knelt. Placed her hand on the cold marble. "I'm sorry I never knew you," she whispered. "But I'm trying to know them. The family you wanted us to be." Her voice broke. "I think you'd be proud of us. For not giving up." Caleb knelt beside her. "She would be." "I know she would." They stayed until the sun started setting. And when they left, Sky looked back once. Not with sadness. With peace. That night, Sky appeared in Caleb's study. "Can we talk?" He set down his book. "Of course." She sat across from him. Nervous. Fidgeting. "I've been thinking." "About?" "About my last name." Caleb's heart stopped. "What about it?" "Right now it's Miller. From the state. It's not real. It's just a placeholder." She looked up. "I want to change it." "To what?" "Langford." The word hit him like lightning. You want my name?" "Our name," she corrected. "Mine." "Lila's." "Mom's." "Yours." Her voice was steady. "I want to be a Langford. Officially." Caleb's vision blurred. "Are you sure?" "No. But I want to try." She smiled slightly. "That's what we do, right? Try?" "Yeah," he whispered. "That's what we do." The paperwork took 2 months. But on a Tuesday in March, one day after her 13th birthday, it became official. Sky Miller became Sky Langford. They celebrated quietly. Just the 3 of them. Cake and coffee and comfortable silence. That night, Sky finally unpacked her entire backpack. Put her clothes in drawers. Her books on shelves. Her few possessions scattered around the room like roots taking hold. Caleb passed her door and saw the empty backpack hanging in the closet. He didn't say anything. Just kept walking. But inside, his heart sang. Later that week, Lila found them both in the living room. "Can we take a picture?" she asked. "Why?" Sky said. "Because." Lila set up her phone. "Because we're a family. And I want to remember this." They squeezed together on the couch. Awkward at first. Then natural. Caleb in the middle. One daughter on each side. The photo captured them mid-laugh. Genuine. Unposed. Real. Later, Caleb would frame it. Put it on his desk. Look at it every morning and remember. Families aren't built on perfection. They're built on showing up. On trying. On giving second chances even when first chances were wasted. On believing broken things can heal if you're patient enough to hold the pieces together. And that's how a family breaks, and rebuilds. If you made it all the way to the end, you're part of something special. 90% of viewers leave before the finish, but you stayed. That deserves recognition. Hit subscribe if stories like this matter to you, because I pour my heart into every single one. Comment, family, if this story changed something in you. And here's my question, do you think Caleb earned his redemption, or was it too little too late? The comments section is about to get heated, and I'll be there reading every opinion. Thank you for watching. Now go hug someone you love. That night, as the house settled into sleep, Sky knocked on Caleb's door. "Come in." She stood in the doorway. Pajamas. Bare feet. Looking younger than her years. "I just wanted to say," she paused. Gathering courage. "Good night, Dad." The words settled between them like a bridge finally completed. "Good night, Sky," he whispered. Sweet dreams. She nodded. Turned to leave. Then stopped. Came back. And hugged him. Quick. Awkward. But real. When she pulled away, both their eyes were wet. Love you, she said quickly, then fled before he could respond. But he called after her anyway. Love you too, sweetheart. Always have. Always will. Her door closed softly. And Caleb sat in the silence, feeling for the first time in 13 years that he'd finally done something right. His daughters were home. Both of them. And this time, he wouldn't let either go. Some families are born whole. Others are built piece by piece. Both are beautiful. Both are real.